You are listening to the decision reel.
Thanks for tuning in to the Decision Reel, where we try to review movies of today and yesterday, but as always, it descends into madness. I'm your host, Steve. With me this week as I try to steer this sinking ship is Tara. Hi.
Hi.
We're here.
And just me.
And just us this week. We're looking at a movie that actually I was excited to review because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I remember always liking this movie, but like only
But you never
seeing,
know.
right, how's it going to hold
Later,
up
yeah.
15 years later? Like, this was that movie growing up, renting it from the library with, Ace Ventura, all those other 90s movies that I would rent, and I'd watch it. And I know I didn't watch this like those movies, but I know I watched it enough to remember things.
I still will periodically, just go and watch it.
Yeah.
I'll just get it in my head. Like, a quote from it will come up, or I'll think of something. I'll just be like, it's been a minute, and I'll just put it on.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, as always, there is no crying in baseball, as well as no crying on this podcast.
There's no crying in baseball. Oh, well, you never know. I cried multiple times watching it. I'm not going to lie.
All right. I'm going to admit something.
Did you cry?
I teared up at the end of this movie. Today. I've never done
During
it.
the Hall of Fame part? When they're in that part, what end? What end do you mean?
So,
because you know what I mean. Because there's an end to their
Yeah.
story, but then there's the end to the movie.
So I started oh God, it's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
Right when she after she runs. Spoilers, obviously, for the movie we're talking about, which is called A League of Their Own. At the end, when she's running into the base and hits her, and she drops the ball, did she drop it on purpose, or
We still don't know, and they've never said.
But as Gina Davis's character is looking over at her sister, finally, this is it. I was like, oh. All right, we're good.
That part actually doesn't get me, but
it didn't get me. I was just like, okay,
but,
all right.
But here's why that part doesn't get me, because
I have a younger sister, and fuck that sister.
Well, I'm competitive, and
Sure.
no, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit who it is on that other team. We could be best friends, but
Right.
I hope she didn't drop that ball on purpose, to be honest with you, especially it being the only season that she played. I hope she didn't do that on purpose.
I think I like her dropping it on purpose.
I don't.
I understand.
For multiple reasons.
I get it, but as a movie, in a storytelling endeavor.
But she
right?
also, if she dropped it on purpose, if she had that in her mind, why did she go and tell the pitcher to throw the pitches that she knows that she doesn't usually
Because she wanted her sister to earn it. And she earned it. Be real.
Okay, but
It's
her
not
dropping it is not her earning it. She gave that to her.
It's not like she just went, run by me. She fucking ran through her, and as she hit the ground,
which also is why, again, I wouldn't drop it. I'd be like, bitch, you had no problem injuring me. You didn't care.
But isn't that a sign of super
No.
respect though?
No.
Your whole life, you've been saying I've been in your shadow and everything that I do is so much better than you. And this is your problem. And you know what? I accept that now. And I'm literally I'm going to drop it. Or we can look at this the other way. She didn't drop it. And she literally got her ass.
Yeah, she just knocked her down, which honestly I feel like shouldn't be allowed, but it's whatever.
There's no crying in baseball, so there's no...
I definitely cried while watching it, though.
I got misty-eyed, and the part that you said was at the end when the flashback to the flash forward, right? And then at the end it comes back and she's standing in the field and that's the first time all these people are seeing her for the first time again. That wasn't the part I was like, oh, that's nice. That's okay, cool. But when they got into the Hall of Fame itself, and then
I'm waiting to see if it's one of the same parts that I teared up on.
I was just that whole time. I'm like, God damn it! And then
because
you're
waiting,
the kid with his
well,
mom showing up and saying I was that shithead kid, and then it shows him. It shows him beside a picture of his mom.
Her,
I was like, oh shit. And
Like
then,
they do build it up. They like
Right.
they like get you.
And then when I was like, well, where's her sister this whole time?
That's
Yep.
That's the one.
With
That's
her
the
whole
one.
family, right? That to me is the biggest thing here is she was saying, I'm leaving to have a family and kids. And
Which
she's
she
like,
did, but
she did.
she didn't come with all her kids.
Exactly. She's showing up with her family that seems like is there to support her, and she was a great person. Even though she seems shitty in this movie, she's showing up with that extended family, and everybody's there for her, and she just turns around and sees her sister, and it's like...
That's when it gets me, is when like they see each other.
Right.
But then I'm like, they're sisters. Do they not see each other?
Well, so they have that a dialogue at the end, like, well, will you see you for Christmas? And she's like, well, I don't know, like maybe.
It's just so weird, you know? Like,
well, but growing up in that era, and you could see in the beginning of the movie when they were like her parents were yelling at her in the other room, she's like, I got to get out of here. You could tell she did not want to come back to that life or that
so maybe
location.
she got out and then just never
came
returned.
back. Now, did they pen pal each other, write letters? Maybe, but that's not the same, right? So seeing your sister for the first time.
I mean, you see how long it had been, obviously, like looking at what age they were when they played and then looking how old. I mean, you have to assume they've seen each other, though, at least. Like, it's not like they hadn't seen each other since they played baseball.
I would say the way the movie shows it in that scene, they hadn't seen each other.
Which is crazy. That's so long. That's a long time to not have seen each other.
I agree, but...
I just can't imagine.
I don't see my brother for like 6+ months on end.
That's 6 months, not
but
like 35 years or however long it had been.
To be perfectly honest,
years.
if it wasn't for my family having Christmas together or my mom saying, oh, you guys got to get together for your birthdays, I wouldn't talk to my brother. So I probably...
Maybe it just depends on... Because like, I mean...
Well, it depends on the person.
My sister and I text and stuff all the time, even if we... I mean, she lives in Annapolis. It's not like she lives far away. But
hour and a half away,
but she can, like, she does come home for things and whatever, but we do talk all the time. So like, I just can't imagine. I feel like if weeks went by and we didn't have a reason to see each other, I would be like, I kind of want to do something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would get that, like,
well, how much older
like
than
it's
you?
been too long. I'm 6 years older than her.
See, that's weird. So me and my brother are only 3 years apart, and he's older than me, and he's got kids and family, whatnot, doing his thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he's got no reason to talk to me. I got no reason to talk to him. And I feel like there's that animosity of, well, fine, if you're not going to talk to me, I'm not going to talk to you. But
it's like a who's going to pick up the phone.
Right,
you're
exactly.
playing chicken.
Now, he's busy with his family doing his thing. I'm busy with being in 2 bands, running a podcast, playing hockey, living life. Right.
Just being the busiest you could be.
Right. Just guys being dudes, you know. So it's like, it's one of those... I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Right? And he's same way too, right? But there might be something throughout the day he'll be like, oh, my brother would like that. But if I text to him, he'll probably give me like what the fuck you text me for about this, you know?
Like my parents are out of town this week. They go out of town for Thanksgiving. They have the last few years.
Sure.
They go camping. And they go south. And they go with my mom's brother and his wife.
The deep south.
And they meet up with my cousin and like his crew. So like, and they live in South Carolina. So they do see family. It's kind of their time to go see them. When Carrick and I had a camper, we went once or twice with them for Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
But then there was one year where like there was COVID
right. There was
going
COVID
through the
year,
family.
yes.
No, like
I got
so we
in
didn't
your
do
family
it.
unit.
But like this year, my family, like they're there already. They're down there. They went on like Saturday or something. They've been there. So, but I mean, I told my sister, I said, we still need to see each other this week, whether it's on Thanksgiving or
not,
or like just sometime during the week, like even the weekend.
Yeah.
Because we're both here and they're not. Like we should do something, even if it's just get some fucking dessert and some wine and sit and watch movies.
Let's get some cheesecake
something.
and have a glass of wine.
Like Kara can stay home with the dogs. I'll come stay the night even. Like whatever. Because she is actually at my parents' house, so she's closer.
That's nice.
Because she's watching their dogs.
Gotcha.
So she is closer.
Yeah,
so not so bad.
My brother lives 10 minutes away, so
even weirder.
Right.
Even weirder.
That might be also a leading factor of, well, we can see each other whenever we want. So we don't.
And you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a friend, same deal, where we hung out all the time and we lived super far. Well, not super far.
And then you got close.
Enough. We literally lived where I could see him walking out of his house and throw a baseball to him. We never saw each other again.
Isn't that weird?
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
Because it's that,
works.
well, I could just go see them.
Yeah, when you live further away, you're
Yeah.
actively making the effort.
Exactly.
You have to. When you live closer, it's just like, I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you when I see you.
But yeah, that part definitely got me.
Mm-hmm.
I did get emotional on that part. I got emotional, which I don't think this part had ever gotten me previously.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I watched it, I got emotional when he thinks that Alice is in the catcher stuff, and she stands up and she takes, like, because she wasn't supposed to be at the game.
So her standing up, you're like,
when she stood up and
you got
turned
me.
the mask off, and you could just see in his face that he was like, oh, she's here.
yeah.
And then he immediately had to like
Yeah, I don't care if you play.
pull it together.
Who
and he's
says you're
like,
playing?
Well, since you're here
Right.
and you're already dressed, like
That was a good scene, definitely. I do like how they don't even show anything that she had a change of heart or anything. She just stands up, and you're like, oh fuck.
no, and they also made it sound like she had missed like a couple games.
She missed every game
because
but the last.
because they had to get through
Right.
the World Series. I mean, it was the same principle. So
Right.
she missed a handful of games, and then
So she missed the entire playoffs.
she even said we got 6 hours from somewhere, or we got to some state and
Right,
turned
and
around.
Right. So however long it took to drive a Model T
missed-
or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, probably a couple days.
Oh yeah,
Which
well, maybe more
maybe
than that.
more.
Yeah, because if you're
she
stopping,
missed that many games,
she also said they stopped at a cabin too. So
Mm-hmm.
you never know. They could have been. Again, they show like the newspaper reel of the entirety
yep.
of that series. So if that's 7 games, well, 6 games, and she showed up for the 7th game, I would assume that's a week and a half,
which is
depending.
crazy.
Unless,
Because
unless again, this is war times and they're trying to get through this. It might have been every day at the same place. So maybe 7 days, let's say, is
Mm-hmm.
what it took. So that is a long trip, but in that amount of time, let's say it took you 3 days to get
where
somewhere.
were they from? They
and
were
turn
from
around.
Iowa.
Something
or
like
something?
that. I would assume the middle of the country or the south, depending
And
on
where did this take place? I can't remember. Like the actual where they were
So-
playing all the time.
Good question.
Rockford Peaches.
I would assume New York area, something like that.
I mean, that would make sense.
because isn't the
I mean,
baseball
they
Hall of Fame in Pennsylvania?
traveled, but they only traveled to like other cities
that
in that
weren't- right,
area.
that
It wasn't like it was
far.
far.
But I do know the Little League World Series or Hall of Fame is in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure, but that's not where they were. But I know that wouldn't it be around there?
She
too?
did seem like she was still back home because she packed a bag to go there. So,
Interesting.
like from whatever house she was living in.
Very.
But she did go back to where she was from. So maybe she stayed there. Like when her daughter came up and was like, stop, you're going.
Right.
She was packing a bag. So it was somewhere that she had to go like overnight.
Which she did. Anyways, before we get super deep, even though we're halfway deep, if you are liking halfway deep, we're just in the tip. If you happen to like what we do here and you want to follow us to see any future videos, or if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on a podcast and you want to follow us on anything else, we are at The Decision Reel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find the podcast version or the audio if you want, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah, you don't need to see our ugly mugs.
If you want to see them, YouTube at The Decision Reel.
YouTube.
YouTube. You can find us. But again, we are talking about A League of Their Own, what it is about. 2 sisters join the first female professional baseball
It's about
league
sisterhood.
and struggle to help it succeed amid their own growing rivalry.
There's
That's right.
I've talked about New Girl on the show before.
Mhm.
I love that. I'm still going to tell you,
Yeah, it's on my list.
you got to
It's on
you
my
got to
list.
do it. But there's an
You gotta do it.
episode of it, and I can't remember. They're talking about sports movies for some reason,
Mhm.
and he no, he quotes something to the girls, to Zoe and the other girl, the 2 main girls.
Sure.
And one of them goes, "Is that from A League of Their Own?"
Mhm.
And he was like, "Yeah, a lot of my advice comes from sport movies, but like you guys don't know because you're girls." And she goes, "A League of Their Own is not a sports movie." And he goes, "Yes, it is." And she goes, "It's about sisterhood." At the
It really
bottom."
is.
Like, I mean, but it's both.
Yeah, no,
it is both. But it was just funny. It's not a sports movie.
I find it intriguing that over our last couple episodes, we did another movie which was about womanhood and overcoming adversity and stuff like that. It may have been a Disney Channel original movie, but still, we're in a theme here with women and doing things that they
Weird.
shouldn't be doing, or in that era. We did
That's
motocross,
taboo.
motocrossed, and you missed that, didn't you?
No,
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah,
That's
I did.
right. I wanted your feedback.
I sent you some thoughts.
Yeah, we did talk about. We talked about a lot on
because
that
I did
podcast episode,
because I do that. I told you when I knew I wasn't going to be there. I told you like I liked that premise of it. I liked that it was girls can do motocross too and blah blah blah. But that it wasn't my favorite Disney.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I stood for the message, but not the delivery as much.
I still think it's all right.
Because just like.
For a Disney Channel original movie, though,
I mean, he was fine. Like back in the day, like he was a.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
He was a man crush.
I remember that guy was
ladies.
in like some other stuff and then just disappeared.
I'm trying to remember who the guy was in Brink.
Are you talking about the bad guy in Brink or
no,
the main
guy.
character? So it wasn't him.
No, I know, but it was like another like.
Sure. Swoopy haired 90s kid doing Get Out of My Face.
Yeah, I can't remember now. Weren't some of the guys from like Sum 41 in one of those skateboard movies? Not a Disney one, but like one of those skateboard movies?
Probably thinking of Grind. And I don't. Was it Sum 41? I know there's a band that's in that. I thought
it was them. Because I remember the one, not the main dude, but the other dude that had like the little spikes.
Oh, Dave. The Brown Sound. Dave Brown Sound.
Yeah, because I remember him being in something.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely
But I don't
right.
remember what. I don't know if it was Grind or if it was...
Probably Grind, whatever.
Because it wasn't Lords of
Dogtown?
Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah, that's a serious movie.
Yeah, so I don't think that they would have been that.
I've been waiting for a co-host to pick that movie for the longest time.
Grind?
Wally. Grind, yeah. Because Wally's a big skateboarder, has always been into that X Games world.
I've definitely seen that, but I have not seen it since like... It was like around the time it was out.
Jeremy London's in it.
Yeah.
Right. It's wild. So it's a good movie, but it's not good. You know what I mean? It's a good at the time when you grew up, when it came out, you're like, fuck yeah.
Isn't it funny how much like
things change
was surrounding skateboarding and stuff back then? Like,
well, that was the big boom.
I know.
What's weird is skateboarding was huge in the late 80s, well, maybe mid 80s
like
to
Tony
late
Hawk
80s.
Period. Like,
so during the 90s, skateboarding almost died. And then it came back in the late 90s. But it's funny because Tony Hawk was the rise and fall with that. He was the kid bringing it up in the 80s to get people to like look at it in Southern California, and then like it died, and then it came back with Tony Hawk again doing like the 900 and stuff like that. So it's just weird how that
it was crazy to see him do that, like even like knowing he was like in his mid 40s and stuff like that. Because I
think he was 30.
Because we are in our mid 30s and we are breaking.
Yeah, fuck
like
that.
we are breaking down.
I take a step
and
off the okay, I get one better. I'm working the other day in my nice office upstairs because I work from home.
Yeah.
And my wife is walking down the steps, and I just hear.
She texted me that.
And I'm like,
she was
what,
like,
what just
I
happened?
just fell down the
right. She's like, I just fell down the stairs. I'm like, how? I don't.
Just a misstep.
I
Just
don't know.
one little misstep.
Right. I was like, you need to watch
and
it.
And then you're aching for 3 weeks.
She could have been done.
She could have died. That could have been it.
Yeah. I like, fuck, you need to chill out. God
Which,
damn.
on that note, I actually thought it was really interesting when I read that one part after
the bruise
where she slid and that bruise, that it was real
and
that there was not a lick of makeup on it. Like that whole thing was real and it lasted for years.
I don't get it lasts for years. Maybe
there was just like a mark of some sort.
Or she just kept hitting it on stuff and it just never went away.
It was gnarly. That was gnarly. Yeah, that was bad.
You could tell too her face. She's like, I don't want to fuck this.
Oh my God. Like knowing that not a piece of the color on that was fake.
Well, it looked good, so there's no way to fake that.
Oh, God.
They also said that every other person's injuries or bruises on them was all real, too.
Because they were actually playing. I mean, they like Gina Davis's split when she caught she really did that split. Like, she did that. And they actually, they did baseball tryouts. Like, they went through.
Which is awesome. I like that. And it also adds legitimacy to the movie you're watching. You believe it. Like, there's a famous movie, mid-90s, called Backdraft.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing for what it did at the time. Firefighters and all this stuff. There's scenes in which Kurt Russell and I believe it's Stephen Baldwin, or no.
No.
Is it Bobby Baldwin? It's not Alec Baldwin. There's a Baldwin in that, right?
Is it Stephen Baldwin?
It's
I don't think
probably
it's Stephen Baldwin.
Whatever.
I think it's the I feel like it's the one that was in Gossip Girl, which
So that
isn't
would be
Stephen or
Bobby.
Alec.
That would be Bobby Baldwin.
Let's
the one
see.
that looks like both of them
That-
together.
Yes. 'Cause
Anyways.
he's thinner and taller,
Right.
but he looks like Alec.
And he
like
looks
he's got the dark hair.
He
and
looks
stuff.
greasier. But there's a scene in that where like they're literally like running through flames and you see their faces perfectly. Or there's one scene where he's like being held off like
William Baldwin.
There's a William Baldwin? There's 4 of them? Is that their dad?
Wait.
Wait, William would be
Let's
Bobby.
just see.
William would be Bobby, right?
No, that's usually Billy.
Oh, Billy.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's
unless
Billy.
he-
Maybe it's Billy.
Maybe there's not a Bobby Baldwin. I thought there were only 3 Baldwins.
I mean, Canada did bomb the Baldwins.
Bobby Baldwin. No, that's not a thing.
Okay.
That's a professional poker player from the 70s.
Good for him.
So
Right.
you're so probably Billy Baldwin then.
Okay. But anyways, my point is they're showing those actors doing certain things, so you're believing what you're seeing on screen a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, there is that, well, if you're making, like Tom Cruise famously breaks his ankle in Mission Impossible and they have to halt production until it's fixed, like 6
so
months.
you have that risk.
Right. So I get why you want a stunt performer, but in certain scenes, it just makes it more legit.
I mean,
and you
but this
believe
is
it.
baseball here. It's not
It is
jumping
baseball,
off of buildings.
but
so,
you could still get fucked up.
oh, you can, but I'm just saying the likelihood
Right.
of
Exactly.
it being that serious.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. So.
Also, Tia Leone's being in this.
Dude, okay.
Every time I watch this movie, every time I take note of that. Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh shit, look at her. And it's like the smallest little.
Well,
but
she's
she's
in
just
it
like there.
3 or 4 times.
She's just like they
So-
show her like up to bat.
Yeah.
Or like at
No,
the
she,
dugout. Or
she
like
throws a pitch in or something, or
Yeah.
there's the scene where like they're going through the people and like cut your hair, do this, do that. She's there. The tryout, she's there, and it's cool
I
because
hate that whole thing. The whole like
it's World War II.
you'll be going to
Ladies.
charm school and there will be no men and there will be no alcohol.
So
And I
it's-
love how Madonna gets up to go to leave. She's like, fuck that. I'm
It's
not doing
always
that.
funny to me, like who is the person saying this is how you need to eat and this is how you need to act?
Men.
I don't think it is men. It probably is, but what I'm saying
Well,
is,
I think it
where
probably
does that come
started.
from?
I think it maybe.
The royal family.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think maybe it started like just longer ago, and there are the proper.
Well, yeah, it's
level
it's,
of things.
It's we're
And-
rich and we're better than
and they
people, and
took
this is how
it-
we eat. We don't fucking.
They
eat
took
with
it
our
further
hands.
to go. This is how you need to be to get a man, to keep a man, to have your family happy, to present. Like you need to be
ladylike,
presentable
Right.
in your life.
like Princess Diaries.
God forbid you
What's this?
embarrass your family.
What's the
Princess
country?
Diaries.
Country in Princess Diaries.
Genovia.
Genovia. That's right. They're making another one.
Genovia. Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it.
I actually am. I don't know what they're gonna do, like what the premise is gonna be. I guess she's gonna have kids.
Oh, hold on. How cool would it be if she can have kids and she has to find another young lady like she found somehow, and she does
Oh.
the same thing, but
Well, that's probably gonna be what the premise is, even if she has kids. Like
Or
it's
that.
probably gonna be like maybe she's got to reel her daughter in, like maybe she's a wildcat like she was, and it's like, okay, you gotta like
I'm looking in the mirror. Fuck you,
we
kid.
gotta
Why gotta be me?
you know, maybe
Looking
I think that's probably gonna be at least
in the mirror.
part of it.
Yeah, probably.
Is whether it's her own kid or whether she has to find someone, it's gonna be like a
or you know,
princess in training like she was.
or it's probably going to be, hey, I was married to this guy and he was the king, but he's dead now, and we need to find another one.
We take this
Right.
and this,
Whatever.
and I give you a princess.
A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Where to watch? If you have a subscription, nowhere.
No.
But for free, you can watch it on Pluto TV. And I said, fuck that. And I downloaded it on my Plex. But
Yeah,
to
I
rent
watched
it,
on Amazon.
YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, Apple TV, Vudu, and Redbox.
Again, though, only cost me 98 cents.
That's weird. I wonder if it's because it's close to.
No,
Black
you know what it is?
Friday?
I think it's because
Older movies?
like maybe certain purchases that I make give me like
Extra
media
purchasing
credits.
power? Oh,
no, sometimes
media
you do get like media credits for like music or movies or whatever when you buy certain things on Amazon. It doesn't even have to be something that's like
I got you.
related to that.
I got you.
But
By the way,
maybe
real
that's
quick,
what's-
for the Twisted Tea fan, this right here, this Bold Rock Hard Tea,
Is this? Oh, I've tried this.
I like it. It's got a little more alcohol flavor to it.
I think that's why I don't. It tastes too much. It tastes like tea flavored beer.
No, it doesn't
to
taste
me.
like beer. It tastes just like if you put alcohol in a iced tea. And that's the whole purpose
See,
of it,
that
right?
it does. To
Where
me,
a Twisted Tea just tastes like iced tea.
maybe it wasn't the Bold Rock one that I tried. I thought that it was, and I felt like it tasted like tea flavored beer.
No, I think you tried the Bud Light Apple.
Not here.
No? Okay,
Somewhere
never mind.
else, I mean.
Well, never mind. A League of Their Own is written by Lowell Gantz and, are you ready for this? Babaloo Mandel.
Babaloo.
Mandel. Directed by Penny Marshall, who's also directed Big, The Preacher's Wife, Riding in Cars with Boys, and some others.
Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah, she's also deceased.
I love Tom Hanks.
You know what?
And I love him in this movie.
You know what? I was just going to kind of get to that. He fucking kills this role.
He kills
every role.
Every
Let's be
role.
real.
And he has and he's not one of those actors that like has a type. You know what I mean? He has played so many. I mean, the fact that Castaways was as good as it was, and he was literally the only actor in 90% of the movie.
And said nothing.
Like,
how do you
crazy.
make it? Me and Wally had that conversation a while back. Like,
The
what
only,
was the script?
The only time he was talking was to the fucking
Wilson.
ball.
Well said. If a man can make you cry over a volleyball,
That was
give him every,
heartbreaking.
Give him every
That was his
award.
only friend, Steve.
Yeah.
That was his only friend.
You know the fan story or the fan idea that what's in the box was a satellite phone that had battery, right? So the thing that he delivers at the end, because he's a FedEx guy, he delivers that box with the angel wings on
That
it.
he held on to the whole time.
Right. The whole fan theory is there was a satellite phone in that box.
But
and
why
he
would
could've
that
called.
lady need a satellite phone?
Who knows?
She was an artist. It was probably something like
Maybe
she
'cause
did
didn't have-
sculptures and shit.
She didn't have a phone because she was off in nowhere.
So funny that he still delivered it though, because she
Good
was
for him.
probably like,
Also,
"The fuck, I'm gonna do with this now."
Also, how heartbreaking would it be you're holding on to a locket with your wife's photo in it, and that's all that's keeping you going. You make a friend and you lose your friend, the volleyball Wilson,
And then you
then you come back and she's just moved on.
with kids.
But
and-
you can't blame her.
No,
you know, like
no.
you've been gone how many
How long
years?
was he gone? 4 years? Was it longer than that?
Something like that.
It was definitely
right?
a couple,
Right.
like 2 to 4 or something
Right,
like that.
Exactly. So here's my thing: how old are those kids? If those kids are like 1 or 2, all right, I get it. If that kid
The
is
one was a baby, wasn't it?
I
Sitting in a
think-
high chair.
I think
or
so.
something?
But if one of those kids is like the same age as I've been gone
It's
that
like,
long,
bitch,
look,
how long did you wait?
Right, 2 months. My
I mean,
body
I guess
was out
they
there.
just like. I guess because with a situation like that, you just assume that they're in the ocean somewhere. If you know, I mean, because who would have thought that somebody would have survived from that? You know,
Well, you fucked up because I'm back.
obviously.
Right. What are we doing? We're still
But
married.
it's like that whole like that show Manifest. They're gone for like 5. They're zapped. They're gone for 5 years. Come back.
but that's different.
But
That's
to
just
them
like the
it was,
blip.
but even worse for them is what I'm saying, because to them
They were gone for
it was a
nothing.
day.
Oh, it was
and
a
they
day,
come
that's
back
right.
and everyone has moved on. Like that's even worse because no time passed for them.
Right. Well, the same thing.
They
with,
were on a plane, then they weren't, and
right.
their kids are 5 years older. Their wives have moved on. Their boyfriends have moved. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Marvel.
that's worse.
Marvel, the same thing with the blip, right? Where everybody just disappeared. Half the population of Earth just
There was
gone.
a whole.
And 5 years later, these people come back, and it's like, oh, so what's up?
But at least, like, still with them though. At least they're like the same with Manifest. Like there was no consciousness while they were gone.
Right.
They
had
were
no
just
idea.
gone, and then they were back.
To them, it's like they just blinked.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to think about.
That's even worse to me. That's so crazy because that's even harder to get because like in your mind, just yesterday you were my wife.
Right.
You know what
so
I mean?
how do you get
Like,
over it?
I honestly like Carrick and I tried that show.
Manifest?
Yeah. And we stopped because Carrick and I get really annoyed with shows where it's like the same problems keep happening.
So The
and you're
Walking
like,
Dead.
is there ever going to be you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had heard that at the end there really wasn't a solution, which is why then fans like rallied and they added another season recently.
So kind of like Lost, where the premise is great, and then it just keeps going on because it's popular. So all
'Cause you
right,
need
we got to
to.
milk this for all
and
we
then
can
at
do.
the end you just like
and then it's like, well, what else can we do? We're on an island.
you know I never watched
smoke
I
monster.
never watched that show.
Don't.
But the
It's
only
gonna suck you in.
The only reason I know how it ends is because of that movie This Is 40. And the
Well,
daughter
yeah,
is like
yeah.
and he comes in and she's sitting on the floor and she's like, they're all dead. And she just starts naming the people. And he's like, I need you to pull it the fuck together.
Which, when you break it down and think about it, if you take out I don't know, 3 or 4 of those seasons, and you just do like the first couple seasons and then the last season,
maybe
it's
fine.
amazing.
But
It's
when you
amazing.
drag things out,
Right. But can you blame them? It's about money.
no, I get it.
It's
I
not
mean, that's
about-
why Grey's Anatomy is still on like 19 seasons later, or whatever
Right.
the fuck it is.
Now, you can look at some of these Netflix shows like Stranger Things where people have integrity and say, hey, look, we're doing 5 seasons. That's it. Figure your shit out if you
Well,
want.
Schitt's Creek, they won all of those awards right before their last season, but
Packed it in.
they had chosen already that was going to be, because they already decided how everybody's
Stories
ending
wrap
was going to
up.
be,
Yep.
and so when they had all that success, people were like, "So are you going to do?" And they're no, like we are gracious that people are now like. Because they won all those awards like after their 5th season, and then they won more awards
Right, it
after
just
the
kept
last
going.
season.
Yeah.
But
So-
they were like, no, I mean, we did it how we wanted it done. So that's...
We planned it, yeah. Same thing. So Seinfeld, same thing. Jerry Seinfeld famously said, he's like, look, I could keep going. They're offering me like $10 million an episode. I would be stupid to not do it.
But it's like...
But I don't feel that it's going to make good television, or it's just going to demean the rest of what came before it.
I mean, Friends was 10 seasons. And I
Right.
feel like they were at a point where all of their lives were...
Well, what else can you
could have
do,
stopped.
too, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're adding more characters or you're subtracting things. And if you look at that 70s show, that's what kind of happened to that is you had Ashton Kutcher and
Has that
Topher
started
Grace,
yet, the new one?
it's supposed to be January, not that 90s show. But Topher Grace and Ashton Kutcher
Oh, yeah.
became bigger outside of that 70s show and famously was like, look, I don't need this. Thanks for helping me get superstardom, but I'm going to go continue and do my thing. And they wrote them out of the show and they kept going with it. Was it better? No. Was it okay? The last 2 seasons were what they were. They also said, hey, look, we were going to bring you back for another season. Why don't we do it? And the whole cast was like, no, we're done. Just no magic.
The
there.
reason why the last season of Friends is only 16 episodes instead of the normal 22 or 24 or whatever is because Jennifer Aniston she said there almost wasn't a last season. Like we were going to, she wanted to be done. She was like,
And you can't blame them.
she was like, we've done this and it's been great and we love it, but we don't want it to turn into something that's not
right. And
what we created.
If you look at each individual person on that show, who's the worst or who's not had a career from that show?
Yeah.
I mean, David Schwimmer's probably the least person who's gone on and done stuff. You look at
I don't know. Courtney Cox might be
Scream.
as far as
you look at all the
but
other
it was
mo-
Scream and like Cougar Town.
Yeah, but Cougar
Like
Town
that
was still big.
was it.
No, she was in a whole bunch of other movies.
Was
she was in the
she?
first Ace Ventura. I mean,
That was during Friends though, wasn't
right.
it?
Well, that's what I'm saying though.
I thought you meant like
Well, no, I'm
post-Friends.
saying success because of the show
Yeah.
and doing all this other stuff, which you could just say, look, I don't
Matt
need to be
LeBlanc
here.
honestly didn't really, other than his show that he had.
Joey, I mean, he's been here and there. He was in Lost in Space. I remember that. He was.
I think
in,
that was during too.
That
but-
was during, and it was funny because you watch that movie and he was like the young kid. But on Friends, he was not the young kid, right? And you're like, oh, okay, whatever.
And then like Lisa Kudrow has just been in like
random stuff.
random
but
stuff,
even,
but she's been
great, yeah,
consistently
for sure.
like the whole time. It's been like here and there, but it's been
Last thing,
consistently in
there was a
shows and
show
stuff.
she was in that was really good, but I remember her popping up as the dean in Neighbors, and I'm like, what the fuck? All right,
Yeah.
good for you.
Bad
this
headline.
This is not what you should be saying to me right now.
I love when they go back to the house and she's like, "What woman is named Dean?" And he goes, "No, that's like the." And she goes, "Oh my God, I was so rude to her." Like, what do you call them in England? We call them chancellors or whatever.
You know what? I really like Rose Byrne.
I really do too.
In her in not Bridesmaids so much, but she's playing her character perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But Get Him to the Greek,
Yeah,
amazing. Like
I love her. I
amazing.
think she's really good.
She was there for like 2 years. She was in like 18 movies. It felt like, and then just nothing.
She was that movie. I think it's called Jexy or whatever. It's on Netflix where his phone, it's Adam Devine or whatever. Devine, whatever.
Levine? Is it Levine?
No, it's not. It's not with an L. It's definitely a D.
Okay, whatever.
But it's like similar to Adam Levine, which is why I think.
Got it.
But
Levine.
he's in it. He's the main character,
Sure.
and he it's about being addicted to your phone. Is what the movie is.
Oh, well,
and his
that's
phone breaks, and so he has to go get a new one. And this new one is Jexy, not like Siri or something. It's Jexy, and Rose Byrne plays the voice, and she starts like taking over his life. Like doesn't want him
interesting.
to hang out with other people.
So
Doesn't
she's
want
like
she's
she's like an AI, but is conscious.
yeah.
That's kind of tight.
Like he's trying to like order food, and she's like, "No, you need something healthier," and like orders him a salad.
was
And
kinda
he's
like-
"Wait, what?"
What was the one movie? Not Lost in Translation. What am I thinking of? There was a movie where Scarlett Johansson was playing her. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. It was.
And he like fell in love with her.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyways, back to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It is starring Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan, Gina Davis as Dottie Hinson, H.I., Lori Petty as Kit Keller, Madonna as May, Rosie O'Donnell as Doris, Ann Cusack is in this as Shirley, Ann Ramsey as Helen, Bill Pullman just randomly, hey, I'm the husband, as Bob. And
I like him.
again, like we said, Tia Leone just showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's great.
I love Tom Hanks. Gina Davis did a great job. They all did a great job.
There's nobody in this movie where you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But I mean, there are characters that you don't like, but they
On
played their
purpose.
characters
On purpose, right?
well.
Exactly.
I
forgot
liked
John Lovitz is in this too. I didn't write that down.
Yes.
I don't know what his name was, but he was the guy that
Yeah.
got them on the train.
Mhm.
I got you on the train.
They
He said something about going home and tickle my pickle and all
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and that was like he made that up.
Yeah.
That wasn't even scripted. Oh damn, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Tom Hanks. You love Tom Hanks.
Love Tom Hanks.
I
Everyone
didn't-
did a good job.
You didn't like
People
certain.
that you didn't. Oh, I really liked Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell's like friendship in this movie. Like I just thought like
They played off each other.
it was
very
really
well.
yes, and I just it's not like a pairing that
You would expect.
you would have thought,
Yeah.
but it worked so well.
Well, I think that's a credit to Rosie.
And I
not
feel like they were
Madonna.
kind of just themselves for the most part, honestly. Like
Who knows what Madonna really is like?
Fair.
Just look at her now.
that's fair, but like
Rosie definitely. I love Rosie O'Donnell. I'm not afraid to sit here and say that I watched so much of the Rosie O'Donnell show when it was on. I love the couches, throwing the couches. I wish there was some way to watch it again, but there isn't. Like you can find clips on YouTube and stuff, but anything Rosie has been in, she just
and
got
then
a charm
she
to
just
her.
she got so controversial, and I think then it
I mean,
like
I get it.
it like takes away from her
Obviously, yeah.
history.
It's that you're looking back on something just like Bill Cosby, right?
Yep,
Like
yep.
now you look back at the show and you're like, oh, fuck.
You're like, dang.
But it's a show, it's scripted,
Yeah.
he's playing a character,
And they
just
were-
like
yeah.
Rosie is.
Which I thought they did great. I thought like they fed off each other. Like when even when they first meet them and they're just like giving sass together to the new girls.
That's great.
And she's like even just like repeating some of the things that she says. What are you looking at? Yeah, what are you looking at? Like it just, and then she turns around and throws the ball, and Gina Davis like catches it.
Yeah. And I like how they do that at the end
the
too.
end,
And
yeah.
like that lady fucking catches that ball. Like good for her. Wonder how many takes they had to do. Just one take. Just got it.
Got it. Yeah, first try.
Let's go. Next scene. Anyways, this
Hey,
is
how did you do that?
rated PG for just language. There's not.
No, there's nothing really.
Was there a? I know there was a shit in there.
Yeah, but
There
most
was
of the
definitely
cussing
no-
was probably him.
Oh, it was
honestly.
definitely Tom Hanks.
But yeah, there wasn't really a lot of
I'm just trying to think
negative.
Anything. No negatives. Runtime. Maybe this is the negative. 128 minutes. It is a little long.
But I don't feel like you feel that when you watch it because they do so many montages of like
Yeah.
the scene, like the baseball games and stuff and the travel and stuff. Like it makes you feel like time is moving.
I will say the only thing that did bug me is it felt like, and I know this is maybe just a bygone of the era, like every baseball stadium looked the same. It looked like they were playing in the same baseball stadium, and then at the end of the movie, it looked like that was
Which
the
they
same
probably
one.
were.
They probably were.
Filming wise.
Sure,
But
maybe make it look a little different. I don't know.
I think that's why it's confusing too. Like,
Who are they playing? Where are they playing?
Yeah.
It's the same fucking
Yeah,
field.
yeah.
Like even, I don't know, there's a couple different
but they
sports
obviously,
movies.
I mean, they all had buses, so they obviously.
Well,
went
and that's why it
places.
made weird. It was weird looking to me, is because they're on buses traveling to different places, and then
But,
it's
like,
like
where are you
you're
going?
you're playing
Yeah.
in the same place. Like you just make it a
And
circle.
they all lived in that house together, and so they went
yeah, I mean,
wherever.
right. And how long was the season? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and how many teams were there? 4, 5?
Four
I think it was only 4. I think there was 4 of those
4 teams of
12, 15 girls or something.
they said because it was 64 girls total, so 4 teams of
I'm not good with
18?
math. Sure.
16. 4 girls of 16. 4 teams of 16.
So then the playoffs were just the end, just the two teams, right? Right. I mean, how do you like? So in
which
my
seems less like exciting because
everybody makes the playoffs. So what does it matter?
it's only two teams did it.
Right.
Two teams did like
Okay.
you beat two teams. Good job. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I like how the guy who takes over or is trying to do it is like actually feeling bad for when, you know, the owner's like, look, this is it. We're
This is
done.
it,
The guys
yeah.
are coming back. And he's like, but these girls are pouring their hearts out here.
Yeah.
They're killing themselves for you. You don't even care. And they show him too at the end. That got me a little bit where the guy turns around, puts his
he's
glasses
old,
on,
yeah.
and he's like, whoa. He needs to cut the rope. I was like,
Yeah.
cut that fucking
'Cause
rope.
they were like, you did this.
Exactly.
You, like,
And like to me that gives a movie so much heart. Like that dude cared so much and he made his life's mission
are you gonna
as
cry
we
now?
see it.
Are you get like getting a little?
No, but I'm saying like it made that guy's it shows like that his life mission was the fucking league and who
like in
knows
the
how
beginning,
long
it was probably something that like he was just assigned to.
well exactly
And then he got so
invested in it.
invested. I mean, even the coach that ended up being that was doing the tryouts, he actually even seemed really like when he was
Into
doing
it,
the
yeah.
tryouts and stuff, he was like, I mean, this is what my job is, so I'm gonna,
Right, do it, yeah.
you know, I can't do it with the men, so I'm gonna put it all into.
And he did it. And even so, again, the end, you see Tom Hanks have the biggest character arc of the whole movie. Like, hey, he got offered this job. He's like, no, I already have a job.
Yeah.
And you're like, motherfucker.
I think I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
And then they show. I like how they don't show him right at the end. They just show the plaque that's in the Hall of
That
Fame
he died.
and that he died. And they don't even like make a big deal about it.
It's
they don't
just
like. It's just lived and died, whatnot. And they show his his accomplishments, and you're just like, fuck yeah.
I like that they had that like mutual respect for each other and that little the little
Yep.
like back and forth, but they never put them together
Right.
because that would have been
So
stupid.
they
Yeah, I know.
did,
There
yeah,
was a
if you
scene
read-
that
yeah.
they kissed
Yeah,
and
they
they
took it out,
cut it
and they
because
rightfully so.
everyone apparently was like, this affects her character in the movie. Like it doesn't, oh, her husband's at war and she's
Right.
just going to kiss her baseball. Like it,
I mean, let's be real. That probably happened a lot, but you know.
but
But it definitely demeans Gina Davis's
yeah,
character.
like her
right?
character,
Yeah, it
like not
makes
just her role, but like the character of her character.
Exactly.
Like,
so
so I'm glad that they took that out because I liked their dynamic
yes,
without having any romantic.
I think it makes it that much better. You know that they're just there.
They could
and
be that.
they're sitting next to each other and they're both spitting out the fucking chew and everything. You're like, this
He's
is
like,
great.
all the
This is good.
baseball players do it. So
Right.
she's like, okay, fuck
I
it.
get it. Right. 1 year I'm in. Fuck it. We're in it. I like
Got
it. Released July 1st, 1992.
Ooh, it's a Independence Week movie.
I kind of like that.
I like that
Bill
too.
Pullman, isn't it? Interesting little
Oh,
Independence Day thing
yeah.
there. Look at that, because 2 years later he would be
I like him.
given. I do like Bill
I
Pullman.
know
as
he
well.
didn't have like a lot of like.
Have you seen The Sinner?
So I started watching the first season, but something happened. I don't know why
Fucking finish it.
I fell off it. Because now what? There's 3 seasons.
There's 4 seasons.
There's
the
4
third
now.
season is absolutely atrocious.
Is
but
it
watch the
the
first
what?
2.
The last season is.
Third season. I haven't watched the 4th season because the 3rd season left a bad
Is
taste in
it?
my mouth.
Is it like it's a different story each season?
Yes, but Bill Pullman's in each
Right,
of
but
them,
like
yeah.
the main, like the
main
the
story
plot
that
is
because he's
different.
a detective.
Yeah.
So he's basically like
I
detective.
kind of like shows that do that.
Yeah,
like
me
where it's
too.
like different, like they had that show True Detective where it was like
Different people, different things, yeah.
detectives and different like plot
Right.
each season.
No, definitely the first season of The Sinner, man. There's something that happens at the end of that, and you're like, I still feel it to today.
Did you watch? Oh God, I'm not gonna remember the name of it. But it was Jessica Biel. It was another Jessica Biel show. Like she wasn't in it. She like was like the director or producer or something of it, and it was teenagers, but teenagers in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Teenagers scares the living shit out of me. I don't know.
No, this girl like her teacher like kidnaps her, and she gets released at the beginning of the show. But so what it is it's the same time period, but over 3 years.
Oh,
So they'll show this week on this year's, and they'll go back show this week, the year before, and this week, because you're trying to figure out did they or didn't they? Because there's another girl, and they're saying she knew and she didn't say anything. Like she knew that girl was in that basement and she didn't say anything.
that's interesting.
So then the whole show, you're
Figure
like,
out what's going on with her.
and I still at the end,
Huh.
at the end, you kind of know then, like at the end, but you're
sure.
still just kind of like,
Right. I
What
like
the
that.
fuck?
I like a
it's
show
cool.
that doesn't give me all the answers.
I think I just saw that they're gonna have a second season, so I guess that it's gonna be a different story, like they do at the center. I don't know, because I don't know how they could continue,
Right.
because there was an outcome,
Right.
So I don't know how they
unless
could
it's just gonna be a different thing altogether.
Yeah,
Which
that's
they
what I'm
could do.
saying.
Yeah.
Like maybe it'll be like the center where it's different.
Weird. Budget
It is
time.
cool, though.
Budget time. Since there's one person here,
It was older.
it was older. It was in the 90s, 92.
Things didn't cost as much.
Things didn't, but also let's look at this movie. Who is in it? And even at the time, Gina Davis is a big star.
Yeah, and
Tom Hanks
definitely
is a big star.
Tom Hanks, I don't think was ever not. I think right out the gate he made an impression on the
You're right.
scene.
The director's sort of big. Speaking of big, directed big with Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah.
So like everything here is could be expensive, but what is expensive?
And
in the 90s?
they don't have a lot of places.
They don't, but there is a big cast here. Let's be
Yeah.
real. Rosie O'Donnell isn't
Yes.
nobody. Madonna
Madonna's not nobody.
is not nobody.
Especially in the 90s.
You know what's fucking weird to think about or comprehend is she right now is doing what Harry Styles just did in this movie. And people would be saying the same thing. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Can you act? Are you the right person to be in a movie like this? Albeit Harry Styles is doing completely different type of movies.
Obviously.
But what I'm saying is it's like people were thinking that and talking about
I think
that at that
anytime
period.
someone crosses over, like an actor
Sure.
wants to do music or a musician wants to act, you're kind of like,
Right.
we'll see.
I will say this. I am not a huge Madonna fan when
I'm
it comes
not
to
either.
certain things.
A
But
lot of
in
things.
this movie, she is wonderful.
Yeah, she's great. She played her role
To a T.
exactly how it needed to be.
Yep. And
I'm not a Madonna fan either. Like I think I like her in this movie more than I like her like
in general.
as like musician, like
Yeah.
as a person. She's kind of acting a little crazy right now. I'm not really sure what's going on.
I mean,
Where did her eyebrows
She's
go?
old.
I just don't know.
right. But what I'm
But-
saying, like, if you didn't know who she was,
You would think she was an actor.
right, you would
that
go,
this is
oh,
what
yeah,
she
this,
does.
this person's great in this movie, in this role. It fits. Just
I
like,
actually, so I have not seen The Policeman, but since you brought up Harry Styles,
Mm-hmm.
I did watch Don't Worry, Darling, and I thought he held his own. I've never been a One Directioner. I never
One
really
Directioner,
listened to
I like
that.
A One Directioner.
I haven't really followed his solo career that much.
Okay.
But I've always really liked him just from clips in interviews and like clips from his concerts and
And
stuff.
being a
he
real
just seems
person,
to
yeah.
have like a really good, like his persona, just like
He doesn't seem like a
gives
dickhole.
off really positive
Right.
energy. Seems to really like what he's doing, like the people.
Yeah, he seems like a person who's taking fame and doing something with it
So,
instead
like,
of being
I
about
wanted,
themselves.
you know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be a
Good.
good experience.
Sure.
So then when I watched it, and he's obviously not playing someone that he is in real life. Like that, it's not. There's not a lot of personality that he
I
got to
you.
give.
I got you.
I thought he held his own. Honestly, I did.
Well, that's
like
good to hear.
like
I heard that My Policeman was
so
horrible.
so. I think Tiffany, actually, your wife, I
Yeah,
think
she
her and I
told me,
have
yeah.
talked about this because she watched Don't Worry, Darling, like the day after I did.
Okay.
I saw her post it on Facebook, and I had just watched it like the day or two before.
I gotta watch it now.
So I think I even commented on it, and I was like, honestly, like because there was so much drama around this movie
There was.
that you just didn't know, like, is this drama going to be for nothing? Is this going to be good? Is it not going to be good? I liked the movie. I did. I mean, I wouldn't give it like a 85% approval, but I liked it.
If you were entertained, you were entertained.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
liked
mean it was
it.
good. but-
And Florence is just
yeah, she's
great.
Yeah,
She's great.
anything she's in, I'm watching.
And she was exactly what you would expect from
That's
her.
good.
Like
That's
she was great. But Harry played her husband, and he held his own. He really did. Like
For him, then.
did not see The Policeman, but
I don't.
in this,
I'm
I
good.
thought he
don't-
held
I
his
don't-
own.
I don't want to see him railing some dude from behind.
I mean, I'd probably watch that.
I mean, do whatever you want.
It's on.
but
It's on streaming.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon
I
or
think it
something.
is,
So
yeah.
maybe one day I'll watch it. I honestly forgot it even existed until Tiffany was like, I didn't really like him in that, but in this.
Got you.
So maybe he's improving also. You know,
I heard-
that was like his first.
Well, everything I've read about the policeman thing, they're like, hey, Harry Styles is probably not going to get another acting role because.
but then
But he's also Harry
did.
Styles.
he did, and
Well, no, policeman was after Don't Worry, Darling.
But this came out after.
Right, but it doesn't mean you didn't film it.
Did they film it before?
There's a movie right now that Taika Waititi directed before he directed Thor: Love and Thunder that's still not out. And it's with Michael Fassbender, and it's about
I guess it just depends.
something about soccer or something. And it's just the way things work and how
I just
wheels
didn't know.
turn.
Like, I knew The Policeman came out before, but I didn't know enough about it to know if it was filmed before or after.
Gotcha. I got you. Well, he's supposed to be something in Marvel, right? Thor's brother, or not Thor,
Harry?
the fuck, big purple guy. Snapped everybody. Thanos. He's supposed to be Thanos' brother, whatever.
Harry is?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you watch the Eternals, which don't, he's in the end of that.
Haven't.
Spoilers.
I did see something about him being in the Marvel Universe, but I didn't.
I've also seen things like people going, or like actual reports like, he might not actually play that character now because he's just not good at acting.
I liked him and Don't Worry, but maybe it's just me, but your wife and I thought he did fine.
Gotcha.
In that one, at
So,
least.
Budget. What do you think it costs to make this movie?
I'm going to say, let's see, early 90s, but the people, you had to fill those stadiums too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they probably weren't, they were just extras, but.
Still, you got to pay them. Or maybe you don't. Maybe just, you won't be in a movie.
I mean, sometimes that's how it works.
Yeah,
I mean,
right, yeah.
sometimes it's just like, hey, show up here.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 45.
45 million, you're guessing.
Yeah.
All right. Actual retail value. No. Actual budget, 40 million.
Oh, shit.
look
You
at
know, I
you.
almost said 35, but
Yeah.
still within 5 million.
Yeah, no, that's a good guess. You got to think, like, I wouldn't have guessed this high because you're like, okay, it's the 90s. Yeah, Tom Hanks is in it, but what does he want? $1 million, right? Okay, give him $1 million, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't go a lot of places. There's not a lot of, like
where's the,
or,
where
right.
was the, where
Right.
was the,
So maybe Gina Davis is like, I'll take $5 million. And Tom Hanks took $5 million. Tom Cruise came in too.
I
and was like, give me
was-
$5 million just to say I was here for a day.
so I know I told you earlier I'm like rewatching Entourage.
Mm-hmm.
And it is funny to watch a show like that because they're showing, because it's about, it's somebody playing
Yeah,
an
yeah,
actor.
right.
So you're
I'm a
seeing
dude
the other
playing a
side
dude.
of it.
Right, disguised as
The agents and the managers and stuff, and you
Mm-hmm.
see them doing the deals and stuff like that.
the
and
backstage stuff, yeah.
it is kind of funny, especially, you know, the show's about someone who, like, he's already broken into acting, but he's still building his career. And what to them is a lot
Right.
for a payday for a movie, when I've seen reports of actors making double that
Oh, yeah.
for, like, not even their big movies.
So there's
but
something,
it's just, you know,
Matt Damon just came out and said that James Cameron offered him a role in Avatar. For 10% of the box office, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Right, but but you have to give him credit for saying, well, I'm sorry, I have to see through the Bourne Legacy.
yeah.
Even though it's done,
was
I
in
got to go through
something,
post-production and I got to do all this, so I just can't do that. And he's like, yeah, I missed out on a lot of fucking money.
Because you don't know. You don't really know until it comes out.
No,
I mean,
nobody knows.
And the show kind of shows that too. Like, you read scripts and everything, but that doesn't mean the director's going to do a good job. That doesn't mean the actors are going to do a good job.
Right.
Or you have a shit script that they turn into a blockbuster
And it could be amazing,
film.
right?
And so.
Or you have the worst movie you've ever filmed, but then turns into this juggernaut for whatever reason, and people get attached to
it was good at, like, Sundance and stuff.
Right.
But then you watch it and you're like.
Exactly. There's a famous thing that happened with this movie called The New Mutants. It was filmed, I can't remember, like 2014 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got shelved for
Yeah, because you have to buy, like.
Well, no. So basically what happened was it got filmed, and then they weren't sure if that should come out because of the way the Marvel universe was going. But this was still a Fox production before they got bought out by Disney. So it had Macy Williams in it. It had the guy from Stranger Things in it, the older brother. There's some other people that were in it that were kind of coming up and going to be big stars, or then turned into big stars because they weren't when they filmed this. And they shelved the movie for like 3 years. Because they just didn't know what to do with it and when to bring it out.
Isn't that crazy?
And then they changed the movie. Like, they did reshoots. They changed, like, it was originally...
Which is crazy because all those people are now
right,
multiple years older.
exactly. So they had to spend more money. Then they finally release it, and it's just not good. But how could it be good, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you sign on to do a movie,
But it is,
and you film it,
but
and you never
even
know.
like you make a movie, you put all the money into the movie, and then you release it at festivals or whatever. But a company still has to buy it.
Correct.
Like someone has to fund the release and everything and the marketing of it and stuff. And if
Right.
no one buys it,
Exactly.
it sits.
Obviously, depending on who's backing the movie at first,
Right.
too, right?
Yeah.
But you're right.
Like, studios, I mean, if a studio has already
Right.
bought into it, but like that's what happens with independent films. They go to like the festivals and stuff. And if a studio doesn't
You can't
take
find
it
somebody
on
to release it
after
for
you've
you,
already
yeah.
made it, then
Then you fuck.
you've spent that money and it is what it is.
So speaking of that, what do we think it made overall?
Ooh.
Again, this is 92.
Yeah.
It's up against, which we'll talk about here. Here's a question to you. I wonder if we should do the top 10. Well, we can't do that because that would add to what it
No,
made.
I think the way we do it is fine.
Yeah, I was just thinking if we did the box office before to see
Yeah.
where it is, it would still kind of clue you into how much it made, but
Yeah, because
still be cool to see what
especially
it's up
if
against.
it's like one of the movies that's in the top 3, you're gonna
Right.
aim higher than if it was like number 10
Right.
or something.
Right.
I'm gonna say I love this movie, so I'd like to say that that it did well.
It's got Tom Hanks in it.
I'm gonna say 100.
Hundy.
I'll give it 100
Casino.
even. Yeah.
So opening weekend, it made 13.7 million. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Overall, it made 132.4 million.
So better than what I
Better.
gave it. Yeah.
I would say that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it's not
Especially with a $35 million, but they made almost 100 million.
right, 40 million budget, but yeah. So you got to think, I mean, in a movie like this, I don't feel like you're making to make a huge profit either. You're making it to make a decent movie and kind of turn, get some money back.
And
or
it's
whatever.
telling a story. It's not
True, yeah.
because it is based on
a real story.
real
a real
story.
person,
Like those
yeah.
people aren't necessarily like all those characters aren't necessarily like
Well, all those old ladies
actual people.
are the actual people.
No,
at
I
the
mean
end.
they're the names.
Oh, right, yeah. The
Like
names
the
and
like
stuff
they're
aren't
not.
real,
That's what I'm saying. Like those characters. Like some of them are based off of.
Sure.
Like Tom Hanks' character was based off of like a couple of different characters that they just kind of like
Right.
built him, but like he wasn't. Like Jimmy wasn't an actual
Correct.
person.
Yeah, right.
So like it's also they told a story, and the people that signed on, they probably really didn't even have to do a hard sell on them, to be honest with you.
Probably not.
They probably were excited about telling the story, and especially at that time period.
And I would have signed. I'm not a baseball guy, but I would sign on to.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah.
top 10 that week.
This might be my favorite segment of our
Number
podcast.
10, A Stranger Among Us. No idea. I should start looking these up myself.
Yeah, I'll
but
do it.
I'm just that.
So, do you think that's like a
It could either be
suspense
one
or
of two things. It could be an alien movie, or it could be like an espionage type thriller movie, or let's be real, it's probably like a fucking romantic comedy.
Oh my God, it's a Melanie Griffith
So it's a romantic comedy.
crime romance.
Yeah. Who's the guy in it?
Tough New York cop is put on the case of
A
a
tough
young
New York cop.
with a young diamond cutter who has gone missing with a fortune of gems. But the apparently open and shut case becomes more complicated when his body turns up, minus the diamonds.
Body turns up with the co-op.
So
Is Mark Wahlberg in it?
no,
Say hi to your mother for me.
it does not have good reviews. But
Oh.
she plays the cop.
Oh.
Yeah, because it says
That's not
when
what I was
she
expecting.
must go undercover.
When she must. Oh, but she's undercover. So she's not really a cop because she is, but she's not playing a cop because she's...
When
I'm
she
never
must go
gonna-
undercover in the community to track down the killer, the cop experiences events which will change her life.
Ooh, events.
It's Hollywood
Okay,
Pictures
all
and
right.
Walt Disney Studios.
All right. Walt Disney.
What's this?
In the 90s, they were throwing some weird shit on the wall to see what stuck.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good
Not good.
ratings.
All
What
right.
else is in this?
Keep that phone up. The next one, number 9. Prelude to a Kiss. Exactly. Look that one up.
James
Galdolfini?
yeah, was in it.
Galdolfini? No, how do you say it? Galdolfini? Galdolfini? Gandolfini. Gandolfini.
Gandolfini. Guess what his name was in the movie?
James.
Tony.
Tony. No, duh. Fucking hey.
Just carries the
Tony.
What was the next one? What is it?
Prelude to a Kiss.
I feel like we're in a weird time zone here.
There's a couple movies in this top 10 I'm like, all right. And then there's a bunch that I'm like, what? Oh, this is even
Alec
worse.
Baldwin.
Of course it's a Baldwin.
Meg Ryan.
Ooh, Meg Ryan. All
It's
right.
a fantasy romance.
Fantasy romance.
They immediately fall for each other and decide to get married. But during their wedding reception, a feeble old man asks Rita for a kiss. While nothing seems wrong at first, Peter soon realizes that the kiss caused Rita and the man to switch bodies.
What the fuck?
As he searches for a way to switch them back, Peter must face the dilemma of loving Rita in a body of a terminally ill man or staying married to a stranger posing as his wife.
I just stay married to the stranger.
And Meg Ryan plays them, her.
That kind of sounds interesting.
It's a 20th Century Studios.
20th Century Fox? Hmm.
No.
Obviously, I'm sure the IMDb rating on that is like 5.5.
So audience did not like it, but
Critics liked it?
60s.
That's not bad.
Audience is less than 40.
So the hot chick, basically, but before.
Yeah, and in a weirder way, because
Who-
they're
hold
already
on.
married.
Hold on. Who played the old guy that was terminally
good
ill?
question.
Because that's going to depend on if I'm staying with Meg Ryan or the old guy.
So I don't know, because I don't know the old guy's name.
Oh. Of course, he's probably not on
There's a guy, there's one that just says old man,
I'm assuming.
Sidney Walker.
No idea.
Kathy Bates is in it also.
Oh, good old Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Breaking ankles.
Stanley Tucci's in it. I love Stanley
If
Tucci.
Stanley Tucci, no, he wouldn't be old at that point.
I love him.
I'm adopted.
I even
What?
What?
Best movie. I'm surprised you haven't picked that yet.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him in The Devil Wears Prada. I love him in Easy A. I even
Transformers?
love him.
He's good at
Yes.
Transformers.
I even love him in
Anything.
The Lovely Bones as the creep.
Because
Because
he's great.
he's like a I don't want to say lower level because he's not lower level.
He's like
but
a Brendan Fraser.
Like a B Tom Hanks because he can play. He's
Whatever.
played so many.
I got you.
But I still wouldn't put him.
He's not an A-tier actor.
That's not, but he's still been in
but he's still great at what he
so
does.
many things.
Yeah.
He's still been in so many
I would
things.
rather see him than Tom Cruise.
Oh, for sure.
Give me Mission Impossible with
I
Stanley Tucci.
love Stanley Tucci. I
Right.
really do. I really
see
do. I
that.
love him. And I also love that him and his wife are really good friends with Blake and Ryan.
Oh, how
Yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Batman Returns.
Oh, okay. Number
so
8.
that was going to be, well, I'm assuming that's been out for a bit. If this is July,
Yeah.
when the fuck would that have come out? Oh, excuse me.
Maybe like,
When do you come out with a
June?
Batman movie?
I mean, if it's still in the theaters, it couldn't have been.
June. It would probably be June.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So that's the second one with Michael Keaton.
Yep.
Good
Michael
old Mike
Keaton.
Douglas.
June. Yeah, June.
Yeah, look at
June 19th. That's one of my ex's birthdays.
Oh, how nice.
I don't know why that stuff sticks with me.
Number 7, this could also be a porn title. Unlawful Entry.
Why don't I know these movies?
Me
And
neither.
like, I like 90s movies.
I'm sure like Gene Hackman's in it or something. Maybe Anthony
Kurt
Hopkins.
Russell.
Kurt Russell. All right, that was
Ray
going to be the next.
Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Rest in peace.
Madeline Stowe.
That one
Oh, I
was-
recognize her. Yeah, I definitely recognize her, but I think she's been in like more.
Kurt
she was in The
Russell.
General's Daughter.
Okay.
I love that movie too.
Number 6, one of my favorite.
Oh, so we know this one.
I know this one. One of my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, Universal Soldier.
No, yeah, not a Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, watch that movie and tell me you
Person.
don't like it. Fucking Dolph Lundgren's in it. What up?
So this is a franchise.
The Universal Soldier is, yeah. Only the first 2 movies are good, and then it's like, pew, straight to DVD.
6 entries.
Is there 6? Yeah, the last 5 are probably all straight to DVD.
The franchise began in 1992 with Universal Soldier, and as of 2012, comprises 6 entries.
Yeah, no. You just need to watch the
That's
first
their
2.
career right there. If they were both in it, all of them.
I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was also in Friends.
Yeah, look at that. It all comes around.
And-
Number 5,
Rachel stole him.
Boomerang. No idea either.
I know that. That one I like.
Is it a family movie with like a kangaroo?
No.
Watch it be one.
No. Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. What
It's
does
a
he do?
romance comedy.
Is he boomeranging
He's a
back?
cocky ad executive, and he's a ladies' man. But he gets a taste of his own medicine when a merger finds him working under a beautiful woman.
Where do you get the boomerang from? I hear ladies' man, and I think of ladies' man like
He is
the,
put off by her non-committal approach to their
Oh,
relationship.
yeah.
So maybe it's like a what goes around comes around.
oh, because it's a boomerang.
Halle Berry
Okay,
is in it.
good for Halle Berry. Number 4, Sister Act.
Well, we know what that is.
Yeah. Whoopee.
Whoopee.
The first Sister Act, too. All right, top 3. No particular order.
So this made the top 3.
League of Their Own.
I mean, duh.
Mo Money and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
That would be the third one, right?
I didn't really... No,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kid is number 1. Or Shrunk the Kids is number 1.
Honey, I Shrunk.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid is number 2.
And then
Honey,
Shrunk
I
themselves.
Shrunk Ourselves is the third one.
Is that the order?
I think.
Why did I think
It's
that?
Rick Moranis, so I love that man, and I will go to my grave defending him as an actor. And as a good old Canadian there, eh? Take off.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah. Which
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves.
Okay,
We shrunk ourselves.
And then there was another one that came out after that. I'm pretty sure there was like a Disney Channel movie. Pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Because those are the 3 that it says are in the film series, but maybe there was like a...
What a good movie.
C-level release.
That was like the first movie.
Oh my
really
God,
big.
when they made friends with the ant, but then the ant...
Tell me there's not a more of a creature that dies that doesn't talk, that's not a dog, that you care about than that ant.
I mean... Oh no, she talked.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't talk. It's just there. There's nothing. You can't come up with anything. Because that ant, you're just
I mean, King Kong kind of made me sad when he
King Kong.
I mean, he was a
Which
dick,
one?
but like...
The new one, like Peter Jackson did?
Well, I never saw the original King Kong.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It's so old.
Right. It's not so old.
But like, it's still... Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah, Mighty Joe Young, but he kind of talked. Didn't he sign language.
Did he die?
In real life?
No, in the movie.
Probably. Why wouldn't he?
I don't know why that... Yeah, I feel like every movie that comes out surrounding an animal...
They die.
Not the horse movies.
Yeah, fucking horses live forever.
They died in real life, but not in the movies.
Of course not. All right, what do you think it is? 1, 2, 3. I don't even know what Mo Money is. We probably should.
I don't... Oh, yeah, we probably should... Yeah, instead of talking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Another
we
Eddie
knew.
Eddie Murphy movie, probably.
Mo Money.
Mo. It's not even on there.
Damon Wayans.
What?
And Stacey Dash.
What?
I've never even heard of this movie.
Me neither.
He plays a criminal.
A criminal.
Falls for her,
Okay.
so he decides to stop breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
And gets a job at her job to try to like get
Interesting.
closer. And so then he's like trying to prove he's a stand-up guy, but then like I guess it catches up with him.
Mo Money.
Yeah. I'm putting that at number 3.
Okay.
Just because
Mo Money.
I don't
Damon Wayans.
because I don't fucking know. I mean,
Sure.
and I like Damon Wayans.
Okay.
I like
The Wayans.
Wayans. Yeah. Wayans.
The
Because you always
Wayans.
it sounds like it should be spelled
You're right.
Wayne, but
I'm super concerned we haven't done hot chicks yet on this podcast. Somebody needs to pick it.
maybe you should, Steve.
I probably should. There's a lot of movies I should pick.
I'm gonna put that number 3.
Sure.
Honey, We Blew Up the Kid, number 2.
A League of Their Own.
Number
In A League
1.
of Their Own at number 1.
Number 1.
So I'm going to do it in reverse order.
You're gonna put number 3.
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is because I can't guess.
No, but I'm saying you're gonna start with number
I'm
3.
going to start with number 3. Number 3, A League of Their Own.
No,
Number
I don't
2.
accept it. I don't
Number
accept it.
2, Honey, I Blew Up the
No,
Kid.
I don't.
Number
Nope.
1, Mo Money.
Nope.
You know what it is?
Nope.
It's because Damon Wayans was on what show at that time?
My Wife and Kids.
No,
What was the show he was on?
with Jim Carrey. The sketch show.
Oh.
Why can't I think of the name either? Fuck. Why is that?
Was he? He was My Wife and Kids, though, wasn't he?
Pretty sure.
It was one of the
because
Wayans.
Damon is the oldest one.
Right.
So he was on My Wife and
And
Kids.
so the guy, the
why
Waynes
can't I
that's
think of the
in
show?
New Girl and Happy Endings and like the newer stuff,
Yeah.
that's his son.
Right.
So that's I really like him.
Well, they're both. So the Hot Chicks, that's Damon Wayans and Marlon Wayans, his sons.
White chicks.
Right. What did I say? Hot Chicks? White Chicks.
White chicks.
What an idiot I am.
Hot chick is
Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
That's why, because we were talking about Hot Chick
We were,
earlier.
yeah.
God damn it. All right. Tomatometer. Roddy Tea time. The Rotten Tomatoes
I mean,
score.
listen, I'm really mad about the top 3 here.
Yeah, I
I
don't
really
blame you.
am, but I'm going to trust that as far as ratings go, they still were respected. And I'm going to say, wait, which one do you want me to do first?
Doing both. Critics and audience.
I'm going to say, because I think both would like this. I really do. I mean, what is there to dislike?
Who's watching this movie besides somebody going, I fucking hate baseball and I hate women?
What is there to dislike? You know what I mean? Like,
Women
what's the
in
downfall?
women in baseball.
So
Women can't
there's
do
no
things.
crime in
Get back in the kitchen.
So I'm not gonna say like 100 or like 90s, like, because I don't think anybody
give it
really
100.
gets. I don't really think anybody. But I would give them both 80s. I would put them both in the 80s somewhere. 80. Okay, all right.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, but where? We gotta put it in the 80s.
Critics. 80.
80.
Audience. 86.
87. It is. Critics, 81. Audience, 84.
So, but
I thought
both
you were gonna,
80s though.
Yeah, I
but
thought
both-
you were gonna say 85.
You're
I'll
gonna
be
put them like a little closer, and then I
Right,
just missed
right.
by one.
Yeah,
But you know what's funny? I almost said 81, and then I bounced back to 80.
IMDb 7.3.
Why is that lower?
I always find IMDb is lower if
But
the
sometimes they've
critics
been
give
like
it high. Yeah.
Sometimes they've been like right there.
I think for the most part, IMDb score is where the movie really is.
I would put it in the 80s.
I might put this one a little higher.
I would,
but
yeah.
I feel like for the most part, most of the movies that we've seen, IMDb is usually
This
in the ballpark.
is probably going to be one of my highest ratings that we've done so far.
In the ballpark.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
So it's really a toss up between Tom Hanks and Gina Davis, because Tom Hanks, I love him in this movie. I love him in most movies.
I was going to say,
but like,
what movie is Tom Hanks in that you went, it's not for me? I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I don't like Tom Hanks. And you're right when you say he's not being Tom Cruise and playing the same fucking guy.
No, he's
not
played
Chris Pratt.
so many different,
He's not fucking. Even you could say Jim Carrey plays the same, but it's a good Jim Carrey and everything. So,
but
my
he
guy, we're
doesn't.
taking it
But
out.
like he doesn't. He's
That's what I'm saying. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, but he turns into a different Tom Hanks in every movie.
I mean, think about him like in that thing you do.
Great.
He's very
Yep.
like
Mhm.
straightforward, not really like a lot of personality going on. But then you see him in like The Bachelor Party, and he's a fucking goofball
Right.
and a half.
Right. Look at him in Splash and Big.
In Big, he plays a child.
Right, and he's great at
mean,
it. And then you look at what we were talking about, Castaway. To me, that is a genre-defining performance right there. Like
and
I said,
it's his whole career, because you've got the ones in the 80s and the 90s and stuff that are
he's still
great.
churning them out. What
and
was
then
the
still, like, even the more recent ones, like Larry Crown and fucking
Charlie Wilson's War?
Charlie Wilson's War.
What's the one where
and
I'm the captain now? That movie
Captain
too.
Phillips.
Cap-
Oh my
yeah.
God. Can I just real quick on Captain
geez, here we
Phillips?
go.
The end of that, have you seen Captain Phillips?
I seen it one time and then forgot about it.
The end of that movie, when they save him and they're trying to ask him questions, and he's like emotionally in shock and like shaking and can't like articulate answers.
Can't articulate.
That is like, that's like, you can't like do better
top tier
than that.
acting.
Like he was just like embodied in that. Like you felt it.
That's Robert Downey Jr. playing a dude disguised as another dude.
It was.
You're right.
I'm the captain now.
Right. My favorite character is Rosie O'Donnell. I just
She's-
love.
Yeah, she.
I and it's not that I like Rosie. I like her in this movie because
Yeah.
this was that, like, I'm still fun. I'm still, like, lighthearted. There's
Mm-hmm.
a part where she catches a fly ball and grabs a fucking hot dog with her mouth out
Yes,
of the,
and she's
out of
like,
the crowd.
"Ah!"
Right. I was like, this is what I love about Rosie. And then after this, you know, all the things she went and did, like the Flintstones and all that, like, that's the Rosie I love.
Flintstones.
And I just, like, it makes me feel
Wasn't
like
Rick in that?
Rick
wasn't
Moranis
he
is. Yeah,
Barney?
yeah. So what I'm saying is, watching a movie like this or
Yeah.
thinking of these things makes me feel like a kid again, right?
Yeah.
Because it's bringing me back to watching these movies
Some
and
of the other
feeling
ones,
good.
yep.
And I've talked about this before on the podcast. There's no feel-good movies anymore. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you watch.
Not in the same way.
No,
not
there's
in the same way.
nothing-
Like you can watch stuff and still get good feelings, but
Sure.
it's not necessarily like.
There's nothing
and
lighthearted.
fuzzies,
Right. I
like-
don't feel good watching a lot of things. Or I'm not watching this to feel good.
Well, I think more movies nowadays are so focused on the entertainment value that
Well, that
they're not
and-
focusing as much on the emotional connections.
That, and I feel like it's the Batman Begins thing. And again, I'm sure you were here the episode I talked about that, where we need to make it gritty and real. Then everything went, we need to make it gritty and real. So then everything afterwards turned into like a realistic, dark, ominous, depressing bullshit.
That's one of the reasons why I like so many of the Marvel movies, is because they still have like light,
yeah.
like comedy and stuff in it. Like Thor Ragnarok was my favorite one.
And it's
Of-
everybody's
and-
pretty much favorite movie.
And but when it first came out, a lot of people were hating on it because they were like, "There's too many jokes. It's too like."
Well, they were also used to what Thor was.
But I was
before
like, "This is great! Like it's still Thor. You still felt
sure
Thor, but it added all this like."
So then, have you seen Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
And you were just like, too much jokes.
I wouldn't say it was the too much jokes
It was the
because I
goats.
liked the jokes, but it was like too like.
It was too goofy. It
Campy.
was no what it
was like.
This is my only problem with it, and I really like that movie. It's Thor was the butt of the joke. In Ragnarok, he was making the jokes.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need my hero to be being made.
I
fun
liked
of.
that sometimes. Like I liked that.
Maybe
like
once
she
or
was
twice.
using his
Sure,
hammer,
sure,
and
that's
he like
fine.
I liked all of that, and then the sword didn't like that he was like missing the
Right.
like I liked all that
That
stuff.
was fun.
The goats were random as fuck.
It was
I
funny.
still laughed at it,
Right. It
but
was
it
funny.
was like
Then it wasn't funny. Then it was
it
funny
was like
again.
why are
and then it
we?
wasn't funny.
And then it comes back, you know,
Right.
like it was one of those.
It
type
could
of-
have been better. I think Taika
And I
Waititi
like Natalie
phoned it in.
Portman,
She wasn't.
but I
she-
felt like it was a weird. It was a weird transition
Yeah.
for her because I
gotta-
liked her as that character in the
The previous
previous
movies, yeah.
ones, but her as like female Thor was
Random and out
was
of nowhere.
weird to me.
They didn't. I don't know. I feel like there was a different story they wanted to tell, and then they filmed that different
I
story.
felt like it was rushed.
And then Marvel went, no, this is what we're doing. And they had to
Yeah.
change it in post-production. So I think that's where you're getting this clash.
Can I tell you, I didn't know Christian Bale was in it when I went to see it.
Oh.
I
that must
didn't
have been
like.
a
I
nice-
didn't know.
That must have been a nice
I don't know
surprise.
how I missed that, but
He
we're
killed
in
it.
there and he's like the first thing. He's
And
like
you're
the
like,
first thing. One of
"Oh,
the
look
first
at
things
that."
you see.
Right.
And I looked at Carrick and I was like, that's Christian Bale. And Carrick's like,
Duh. Have
but
you seen the trailer?
don't know. I guess I just missed it.
As-
He
as-
did a great job.
As a character called the God Butcher, he killed one. Show
Yeah, he
me
wasn't
more.
really-
Exactly.
No, they talked about others though.
But they didn't show me that.
No, but
Show me that.
But that's why he was called
But
that,
give
because
me-
he did do
Right,
it.
but you're not showing me he's a threat.
No. Also, I don't need giant spiders or whatever the fuck those things were running around. That's not something I need in my life.
Least favorite character of League of Their Own.
So
Better be the same as mine.
I hate the kid,
Well, yeah, duh.
but he's not really a character.
Right.
So
He's just there
my
to make
least
fun of
favorite character is the sister.
100% is his sister.
100%.
Yep.
She is the biggest fucking baby. And
I get it, but at the same time, like,
don't
just-
get me wrong, I
right.
do get it.
Yeah.
I get that that's probably.
well,
But
it's- it's-
what I don't get is that she puts so much of it on her as though it's her doing. Like she has caused on purpose this
But
shadow.
is that not realistic?
Oh,
Is
it
that not
definitely is.
good writing that can draw you in as someone who's maybe gone through that? And then for Gina Davis to get in that fight with her, like, why are you here? And you could tell she wanted to say, I'm only here for you. Like, I'm only here playing baseball because you wanted to.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have made it if I didn't come
And
out.
she I would have said that. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah.
I fucking would have.
But let's
I
be
was like,
real.
bitch, I didn't even want to
But-
be here.
She's being the big sister and not saying it.
So
You know what I mean?
And here's
she
what
just
I'll
says,
say.
fuck you, go then.
And
Just say it.
I don't think she listens. This reminds me a lot of my sister and I in our
If she's listening, she hasn't gone this far.
in our
into an
film.
episode.
Well, I also think she's actually been the one who said it. I'm not you don't really notice sometimes when it's happening.
Sure, yeah, I know. for
So,
sure.
but she has said it multiple times. But the fact with this one it was a little different because they both did play sport. They
Right.
both were good, but like but it sounded like she was getting overshadowed in other parts of the life.
Yeah, and they showed
And
that
baseball
too,
was
yeah.
just something that she did have, but they both happened to have it.
Right.
But like my sister didn't do sports. She didn't do Girl Scouts. She didn't do like that. Like she just didn't. She would do like one season of something to see if she liked it. She did that a couple times, but she never had like a thing that she enjoyed as much as like I did with soccer.
I got you.
And then moved into field hockey when I went to high school, and then moved into having a cover band. So like, there's always been things that my parents threw themselves into support wise.
For you, right?
And I think that that's where it happened just because they didn't have the avenues.
Well, yeah, I get it. It's almost like, oh, you're playing favorites. Well, no, what were we going to go to? Would we see you sleep?
But then it started to make me feel like I was doing something wrong. And so watching it, I do get that, and because I haven't liked it.
Yeah.
I haven't liked.
Well,
that
sometimes
she
you gotta
feels like
gotta
that.
have those real conversations, and it's kind of hard to have those real conversations because you don't know they're happening.
But
when they're
we're also
happening.
closer now than we've like ever been,
And that's good
in our life.
That's
But I do get that. You know, growing up, I had different era too. But like
Sure.
growing up, I still had the same big sister stuff. Like she's taking my clothes. She's 6 years younger than me, so we were always in different stages of our life.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
she's
Yeah,
in
that's too
elementary
far
school.
away, yeah.
I'm in middle school. She's
Right.
in middle school. I'm
Right.
in high school.
I like boys.
I'm in college. She's just going into high school. You know,
Right,
so
right.
we were always in different parts of our life, which is why I think it took until we were both adults for us
to
to
finally get together and be like,
Yes.
hey, you know what? We're
like
we're
both
cool
in our
here.
20s
Yeah.
or whatever, and then we could. But we had those things, but I never noticed the
differences.
other things
I gotcha.
until she started to be more vocal about it.
Well, at least she told you.
Yeah, I mean, but it was more in the beginning. It was more like Kit though, where it's like, you know, you're the favorite. It was more in a bitter way. Now it's more like, well,
It
just is what it is. But I told her, I said, look, you're gonna have your moment though, because as soon as you have grandkids that I'm not giving them,
Right. There you go. You good.
they're gonna be there all the fucking time.
Get in
like they will.
She better get busy, I guess. I don't
But
know.
she was so. Even when she like the last pitch and they like went out and she went over the dugout and threw a fucking fit, even that bothered me. I was like, get it the fuck together. Like,
yeah, she was like crying almost.
and
like,
and even her teammates are like, it's okay. Like we still have, you
Right.
know, go out there. You have to hit. Go out there and just.
but I get it. Like, she's fucking mad. Like, of course it would be her coming up. Of course she's gonna hit. Of course she's gonna score.
Right, I don't know.
Fuck
And
this
like
bitch. Everything is always
and I
better
think they
than me.
had to make her irritating, but like
You have to. Yeah.
but then it made it even harder at the end when she won
Mm-hmm.
and she was signing autographs and feeling like this because it didn't feel like it didn't feel deserved because of the way she was acting.
she was acting like a little brat
Because
and then got her
she
way.
was
yeah.
acting like she deserved it. And that
Right.
makes you not want someone to have
Oh, yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like Gina Davis didn't want it. She was just
Right.
there. I mean, of course she wanted it. Like
Well, that's
when
the
you're
thing,
when you're
too.
competing, you want to win, but she didn't need it in her
Yeah.
life. So you wanted her to have it because she was this person who was leading the team the whole season. And you know, as soon as they said we need to build up following, she was thinking she was doing anything she could. She did the splits to catch the ball. She
Yep.
caught the ball behind her back. Like she was, you know,
she
coming
was
up with
the
whatever.
show, right? Exactly. So
And it probably wouldn't have been what it was without her. So
right.
then even when she leaves and she comes back, you're just like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
like she's going to do the damn thing. And then this brat wins.
I'm gonna say I think she drops the ball on purpose.
She probably does. And that's just not something I would do. Like, look, if my sister is listening, I love you. But she also knows me well enough to know
I'm fucking winning.
I'm not fucking doing that.
Right. I'm winning.
Like,
Too bad.
It-
Cry. Do better.
it just, yeah.
Right. And you know what? I think the
Listen, we
scene-
both got here.
Right.
We both did the same
Yeah.
shit to get to this
You're on
point.
another team.
Why do you
and you're-
deserve it more than
right.
me? Nah.
I will say so. There's the
if
scene.
you had stayed on our team,
Right. Maybe we won together, and you don't want to win together. Whatever.
fine.
But there's the scene where Tom Hanks comes out to the mound and's like, "Yo, look, you ain't doing too good," and says to Gina like, "Yo, what do you think?" And she's like,
And
"Well,
she says
she's
she's
fine,
done.
whatever." But then he
He
goes,
pushes.
"What do you really think?" And she's like, "Oh, she's
She's
done."
done.
Right.
And,
And
she
she
gets
get-
so mad.
Right. Which I understand, but at the same time,
And she tried. She was like, no,
she said straight up like,
but
"I'm
then
not
he
gonna
was like,
fucking-"
no, like
yeah.
this is
Yeah, get her the fuck
as
out.
our job is she,
Right.
and she's like, no, she's
This is
not. And she
baseball.
got so mad, and then they're in the, and that's when their fight
Mm-hmm.
happened in the locker room, and she's like, you were losing your shit, like
It's not personal.
it has nothing to do with you as my sister, but
Right.
like.
You either got it or you don't. You don't got it right now. Get the fuck out. Let's get somebody who's got it.
Oh,
Fresh.
and then when
Freshy.
she asks, then when she's like wants to quit, and they're
Yeah.
like, "We'll figure out something to do," and she's like, "Trade me, whatever," and then they trade the sister instead.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to think like I'm
They're not gonna
trading-
get rid of her,
Yeah, you're
but-
the star of the fucking league.
But
This is
then
the
it
team.
made it even look worse because her sister then,
Yeah, you
normal
got-
brat,
yep.
you asked them to get rid of me, and she's like,
No, I did
"No,
not.
I didn't. I asked them to get rid of me," and she's like, "Oh yeah, like they're really gonna do that." But it was either that or she was gonna quit altogether.
Which she's never going to listen or know. So I think it's just well put together and well written for
Yeah,
that,
like
so.
don't get me wrong, like I understand all of the parts, but
Also, you're getting mad, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the
it
movie
did the part.
not...
It did. Oh, don't like I
Right.
said. It did what it was supposed to do. I get it.
Right. So thinking of that, what was your favorite part or scene?
It's really hard not saying there's no crying in baseball.
I mean, that's the scene that everybody still talk about. Even if you've never seen the movie, you still hear that.
But I also even because I also think that's when he was kind of starting to get more into it as the coach too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because he started realizing, wait a second,
Girls are actually
these are good. They're good.
Yeah.
And he starts stepping up, and then so that was kind of showing he was invested. He was like,
Right.
no. But then I love in the World Series when she comes off the field and he's like holding back his yelling, and then he's like, just next time,
right?
And then she
Next
smiles
season,
because she's like,
oh yeah, thanks.
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
But I
Mr.
also love, and I laugh out loud every single fucking time when he throws that mitt and hits the kid in the face.
Oh, it's great.
And then he even immediately is like, ah!
Gotcha,
Like,
bitch.
I laugh with him.
And that kid got tagged too. Like they showed that kid, and so through the whole movie, you're waiting for it. Like somebody's got, yeah, fuck that kid.
As soon as he put his hands over that fucking bus driver's eyes, I was like, get him off the fucking bus.
I would be the same
Like,
thing
he can
if
stay
I was
here.
that bus driver.
I'll walk away. Bye.
Deuces,
Yep.
I'm out of here. My favorite.
I probably
scene,
wouldn't have walked away because like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, if I'm
but I
getting
would have been
paid-
like, tie him the fuck up,
right? If I'm
like
getting
for the
paid
rest of this drive.
to be there, and I'm gonna drive where I gotta go. But anyways, my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Come on, it's Tom Cruise.
No, don't you disrespect Hanks that way.
Tom Hanks pissing for like 20 minutes. That is without a doubt the funniest part to me, and
they're
it's
just
the epitome of his character at that time, which is
because he's
perfect.
drunk and he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
This
Time
is just
it,
a
time it.
paycheck.
Is
to
it still
him.
going? Time it. I'm
Is it
timing
Rosie
it. Shut up.
O'Donnell,
I got
the
it. Yeah.
one that says it.
And
And she's like, I'm
Right. And he just keeps going. And Tom Hanks just plays it perfect. Like,
I love that in like the article where it's like the fun facts and it's like, no, he really wasn't, because a lot of people were like,
thought he was
he
pissing
really
for
doing
it because he's that good of an actor.
Yes, he looked like he was
He was
being.
pissing that side. Obviously, I'm going to put these two questions together, which is, were you entertained and would you recommend it to your mother? Yes and yes. Obviously.
100%.
There's no way you're not.
100%, both of them.
You're not recommending this to anybody.
I love this movie.
Right. It's fucking...
Anyone who has not
Top
seen
tier.
this movie has to see this movie, and I will sit there and watch it with you because I enjoy it that much.
I will watch it with
And I will enjoy watching you watch
Right.
it.
I'm gonna
Like, you
enjoy
know,
I'm
like
gonna, I'm not going to watch this movie. I'm going to...
watch you watch it.
You're going to like this part.
I am one of
Look
those.
at this part.
I
You're
am one
gonna
of
like
those people though that if it's a movie that I like and I'm showing someone for the first time, I'm like,
Get the fuck off your phone. You're missing it.
or like when certain parts come up,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
like waiting for their reaction.
So I've done that a lot where I'll have people come over and like, hey, let's watch a movie. I'm like, have you seen this? And they're like, no. I'm like, hey,
You
all right,
should.
we're going to watch
But then
that.
don't you get upset when they don't like laugh at as much at the same parts, or they don't like get as into the
So
same
my wife
parts?
does some things too, because I make her watch movies. I think you caught it. No. Yes, I think you caught it. Nope. There's a fly. Anyways, I'll like, you got to watch this movie, right? And then
Gnat.
she'll start watching it with me, and I'll look over, and she's just scrolling. I'm like, you're missing integral plot points here that you're gonna ask me about later, or you'll be like, this movie's I don't get it. Yeah, because you're not
you miss-
watching.
But like,
Oh, I'm paying attention. I can do two things at once.
doesn't it remind you of like the How I Met Your Mother where he's showing her Star Wars?
Right.
And she's like, it's just a bunch of words going across the screen. And he's like, uh-oh. Because she's just like,
Yeah.
and then that bear goes, and they all go, that's a good idea, bear. First of all,
which
he's
is
a
true.
Wookiee.
Right. You need to know. Anyways. Thinking about doing a remix for our 100th episode on of that, but we'll see. During filming of the World Series games, stars took turns entertaining the unpaid extras. Tom Hanks did puppet shows over the dugout. Rosie O'Donnell did
course he
stand-up comedy, and various actors pretended to be Madonna and sang her songs after the singer balked at performing for the fans. So she's there. Hey, why don't you sing a couple of your songs? No, fuck that. They don't get that shit for free. Fuck you, bitch. There's no band behind you. Just sing like a virgin. Wait, would she have had that in 92? Yeah, that was an 80s song. That was an 80s song.
But like, maybe she's not great without all of that.
Probably not.
Maybe she knew that. Maybe she was like, I'm not. But sometimes, because I get sometimes, like if
Madonna's a good singer. Not amazing, but not like bad to where if she's singing a cappella, it's not going to be like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Listen to some early Madonna, and you're like, all right, she's fine.
She's fine. I wouldn't.
Okay,
have
she's
called
not
her
Adele.
A good
She's
singer.
okay. She's a
But, like-
serviceable singer by herself.
But-
and she could just sing one of her songs. Just do a
Maybe.
verse, do a chorus.
But like, what I was gonna say is, I get it sometimes because if I've already had 2 shows on a weekend and I go out to see someone else and they're like,
come sing.
sometimes
Like,
I'm like,
I
oh
can't
my
sing.
God, I just don't. I always love when I get asked, and I do enjoy it because I support. I
Sure.
love all the people that play around here. But sometimes if it's been a long weekend, I'm like, oh no. Like,
what song? No, I'm good.
goodness.
What else you got?
There have been times before where, like, especially if I'm like
Horsed.
dead,
Right.
and I'm just like, don't.
I might need some green tea beforehand. Yeah. The story was inspired by the career of baseball legend Dottie Collins. During World War II, she played for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League and pitched 17 shutouts during her 6-year career.
Oh, pitched though.
Yeah. So, again, it's sort
But
of
still
on this
Dottie.
person. It's Dottie, but completely different. So, obviously, they fabricated this sister story and all this stuff.
Well, I think I did read that, like, they did base the sister story off of someone that was like making the movie. They had like a brother relationship that was similar. It was like 2 brothers.
Gotcha.
And they were also like, one was like a first baseman, one was a something.
Sure.
So they said
Outfielder.
that they decided to use that in the movie, but changed it to pitcher and catcher because that seemed like a better like
Dynamic.
dynamic
That
to
would
have
make
to
sense.
deal
Yeah,
with.
because you're pitching to your sister.
They are having
Right.
to deal with each other.
That makes sense. The character at the Baseball Hall of Fame and seen playing as the characters as the credits roll are the real original players from the league portrayed in the film. So all those old ladies that are there, those are the real players from the league.
The ones like at the baseball field and everything.
Correct. So not the one that's playing Gina Davis and the one that's playing her sister, which kind of weird. They dubbed Gina Davis's voice on that lady,
Isn't that weird?
but maybe her voice
For a
was
long
like,
time, I thought that was Gina Davis, an old lady,
Well, they
because
gave
she
her-
looks
they
she
gave her
looks like her.
They gave her
and
the
everything.
well, I mean, maybe that was the thing. They found somebody that looked like her, and then they had her say those lines, and they're like,
But I mean, I don't really feel like they need to. When you get older, your voice changes and stuff, anyways. So like,
yeah. I mean, I thought it was okay. It wasn't done.
oh no, I mean it was
untastefully.
fine. I'm not saying that it like was done badly, but I'm saying I don't know that they needed to.
So was it done in the beginning too? Because I don't remember
Yeah.
being thrown out like I was at the end.
I think it was. Yeah,
So
you just didn't really. It was very quick in the beginning.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess John Lovitz had a more substantial role in the film in the initial cut. During the extensive post-production editing and screening process, the filmmakers used only his meanest comments and most obvious punchlines and found that the audience was roaring with laughter at everything he said. They decided to focus on those moments, cut out the extraneous moments, and ended up with one of the most popular elements in the final film. I think that was smart.
Yeah,
So if he was
it
in
wasn't
way more-
necessary.
right.
You know what I mean?
Necessary. Sorry. I think him being in it, just making jokes through the whole movie, kind of would have taken away from it, or doing other things. Because why else is he there?
I do love that part where they go and they're getting Marta, and he sees her and he's like, "We're leaving," and the girls just put their suitcases down. And they're
Yeah.
like,
No.
"You're not going to take her because she's not pretty enough," and he's like, "Yeah, we're trying to sell tickets," and
Right.
they just put their suitcases down. And they're like, "Okay, well,
We ain't fucking playing.
we're not going without her,"
Which I like, and that's
Yeah.
definitely solidarity. And who
because to their
cares?
point, it was like,
and it was.
we're going to play baseball and she's fucking good. What are you doing? Like,
Right.
that's stupid.
That's not like she was hideous either.
I just remembered one of the other parts that I
Oh, geez, all right.
cried
What do you
on.
got?
when the girl couldn't read the teams.
I wasn't.
And she
wasn't-
was up
yeah,
there
yeah.
like, I don't know what to do. And then the
Right.
girl went up and held her. Because can you imagine had that she went up there and her name wasn't there?
Right.
And you have to be the one to be like,
Oh, it's not there. Now, to be fair,
to be fast.
even if you can't read, wouldn't you still know how to read your name?
I don't know.
But again, it's World War II.
Maybe.
That era.
Maybe she had never seen her name.
Maybe, right? Like she was on
Has
a farm.
she ever needed to write her name? Like, how would she, you know what I mean? Like,
But you would think at that age where you can play in a league, you might have. Well, again, maybe
I mean,
she was just
maybe
signing.
in 20. I mean, 20s.
I would assume, but maybe she's just signing a here's my sign.
Yeah,
like
maybe
it's not a word.
Because
yeah.
if she's illiterate, she probably can't write either.
Right. And that was cool that they're teaching her how to read and everything out of a dirty book.
The dirty book. Milky.
Right.
What are you? She's reading, isn't she? Like,
Again, this movie's got heart, and it's.
but I
did.
did tear up at that moment, especially.
I get it.
And then even the coach was like, "Okay, go sit," because at first he was like, "I'm
Right.
sorry if you're not up there," because he didn't understand.
Sure, yeah.
And
he wasn't shitty about it. But
no,
he was
just like, "I'm sorry,"
yeah,
like
you
because
can't
he
go.
thought she was just upset that she didn't make it, and the fact that that other girl even thought of that, like
That's good. Yeah,
maybe she can't read.
can't read good and other stuff. Gina Davis joined the production as a late replacement for Deborah Winger a few days before filming was due to start. Her character was supposed to be one of the greatest female baseball players in America, and the cast had been doing baseball training for months. Within weeks, Davis had mastered the game and was better than all of her co-stars.
It's the right choice then.
Fucking what a boss.
They should have gone with her before. I don't think Deborah Winger, like, don't get me wrong about Deborah.
Good for Deborah
but
Winger, like in other things, but she wouldn't have been right for
I
this.
don't think that was a good fit.
Now,
I feel like I read there was someone else that they considered too, but I don't remember who it was.
probably, I mean, every movie's like, this guy, no, this guy, no, this guy, all right.
But it was a well-known name. That's why it was in that same article.
Yeah.
So I can find it.
I can find it. Well, I'll say this. Gina Davis fucking crushes this role.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen
I can't think
another
of someone
movie
else
who would do
who would
yeah,
do
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I mean, she's perfect for the role. She does everything she needs to do and more in this movie. She's doing her own stunts. She's doing what needs to be done. She looks great doing it. Good for Gina Davis. Who was it?
No one thought that. No, this was just.
Oh.
No one thought that "There's No Crying in Baseball" would become such a classic movie line.
I mean, it makes sense. How many other movie lines
Such
came
a
out of
sw- I
other
mean-
movies, that are classic, right? So, all right. After you find that, or
Yeah.
did you find it?
It's
No.
gonna be really. It's still unclear if she dropped the ball. We know,
Mm-hmm.
but couldn't you have just told us?
No. Gina Davis knows because she got hit. Whatever. Final decision time. Out of
Tom
10.
Hanks gained 30 pounds to play the
Yeah,
role
that makes sense.
of Jamie Dugan.
He's probably like,
But even still, he looked. I mean, he looked fine.
he's like,
Didn't-
I'll
like,
gladly. eat
Demi
cheeseburgers."
Moore,
Oh yeah, okay, I
Demi
did say
Moore,
that.
and
then-
Deborah Winger were both in the running.
I don't think Demi Moore would have been a good choice.
Jim Belushi was in line to play Jimmy Dugan. Wow.
I don't think. Well, that could have worked, but Tom Hanks definitely makes it his own and does what he needs to do.
His
so.
first choice to play Dottie was Demi Moore.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been.
She
good.
dropped out of consideration due to her pregnancy at the time.
Good
So
for
had
Bruce Willis.
she not been pregnant,
right, my man.
she
Bruce,
might have been that. And
like
then
it.
Deborah Winger was after that, and then
I like it. Okay. Final decision. Out of 10, what would you give this movie?
look,
Blech.
easy 8.5.
8.5.
But I would
You go even higher.
I could maybe even go to a 9. I just can't. There's nothing. I can't think of anything wrong with this movie.
I'm trying to think myself. Like,
You know what I mean? Because I feel like
There's-
sometimes you can summon something
so here's the
to be picky about.
Here's the sentence I wrote to make me think of what I would sum up this movie with. A great movie that has no bad parts and makes you feel things. What else do you want?
Yeah, because like I really can't think of.
There's no lulls. There's no parts that throw you out of it. There's no what
No.
the fuck moments.
And there's
no
emotions, but there's also
bad-
comedy. Like there's drama.
there's no bad acting.
No,
There's no like I didn't sit there once and go.
even like the players that weren't like the main
Mm-hmm.
players. The parts that they did have weren't bad. Like they weren't.
It passed the phone test too. I did not once pick my phone up watching this movie.
I probably did, but I've also seen it
Right.
a lot of times.
And I've seen it, too.
because I do go back to
Yeah.
watch it
I've seen it
periodically.
I've seen it more than probably 5 times myself, but it hasn't been a long, like for a while. I haven't like sat down.
But it's a
and watched
movie
it.
that if I need to go to the bathroom or something, I will still pause it, even though I know.
Right. I want to see
know.
everything.
I want to see all of it. But like even like when the guy comes in to give the letter
Right.
that
Oh, yeah.
someone's husband and
Mhm.
poor Betty Spaghetti.
And she was gone after that. Like the minute they took her out of that room,
They took her then, but
I didn't
wasn't she
see-
in the
I
series?
didn't- I did
Wasn't she in the
not-
World Series?
I did not see her after that.
I mean, I
part.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I mean, why?
Why would
That's
you be
not your
there?
priority anymore.
Exactly.
That's so sad.
So I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I really like this movie. I think it does everything it needs to do and more. There's, like I said, no lull, no like bad part, no nothing. Tom Hanks kills it. Gina Davis kills it. Everybody fucking kills it. Rosie O'Donnell kills it.
Yeah.
Madonna, great.
So far, because I'm going to be really stingy with a 10, obviously, because that's like,
There's only one movie that's a 10 in my book. Anything else, you ain't getting there.
what is it?
What do you think it is? Back to the Future.
Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
So
Back to the Future 1, 9.8. Back to the Future 3, 9.5.
no, but
Hate me all you want. It's true.
But the reason I'm saying
movies
that,
in the world.
I say that because, like, I'm going to be stingy with a 10.
Sure.
I'm not even sure that off the top of my head I could give you a 10. Just like
Maybe next week.
sitting here. No.
Okay. Good.
I love that movie for what it is,
Okay,
but it's
alright,
not
alright.
like
It ain't no
something
10.
that I watch all year long. or
Ain't no
something.
10.
But this movie could be, for me at least, you could argue it because I can't think of.
I don't think this movie's a 10. I think
No,
it's
but I'm saying it's the
amazingly-
closest that
I got you.
I could argue from any of the ones just because I really can't think of anything. I can't think of anything wrong with it or anything negative. And it is a movie
Yeah.
that, because I use this in my ratings, I always have. If it's a movie that I will go and watch by choice, not just because it happens to come on or whatever, I have gone and searched for this movie
Right, to
because
see it,
I'm just
yeah.
in the mood to watch the movie.
I get it. Yeah. And that's what you want out of a movie, right? You want to have replayability. You
Mm-hmm.
want to have it to where I want to watch this movie
Yep.
again. I can't find it. I'm going to go find it. Not,
Yeah.
I can't find it. Fuck it. I'll just watch something else. So that's a good quality to have as a movie.
It's really good, and it's, that's why I had it on my list, because I think if any of us hadn't seen it, they needed to.
Well, I know who hadn't.
Well, he hasn't seen anything.
What a dickhole. That's why we have these
But
series.
Wiley
How have you not
actually is
seen
the
this?
one who picked it
Yeah,
from my
no,
list,
yeah, Wiley's
and
definitely seen it.
I had it on my list, and it was going to come up eventually. But I love that he picked it
Yeah.
because it's not just a movie for like chicks.
I agree. I don't think it is a movie for women.
It's
honestly.
not, and it's
I
not
don't.
even really it's not just a sports movie either, because it's got so many things in it.
I would say it's not a sports movie.
It's a movie about sisterhood.
I don't even think it's about that. I think honestly, it's just a good feel.
It's just a good movie,
right? Like
they just happen to play baseball,
right. The story centered around two
a
sisters,
baseball team, but it's
playing
not.
baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
and they chose a great moment in history to focus on, and I love that they only focused on the season that she was in, because she was a pivotal role in
even
that
so,
league being what it was.
When she comes back, there's players that are like, "Who is that?"
This is
Yeah. She only
played one season,
right.
but she was it. She was the best one.
That's, to me, that again, good storytelling, good writing.
And I love that she even but I also love that she still walked away. Like, she was like, "Look, I needed to finish this, and I love
Need to come
it,
back,
but
do what I need to do.
I had goals for my life."
I don't think she liked it. I really don't. She says throughout the whole movie she doesn't like playing
I don't
baseball.
think she would have come back though.
No, I think she did to stick it to her sister and help the team.
I don't know. She wouldn't play leisurely at home if she didn't enjoy baseball.
But did she?
Did she what?
Did she play leisurely at home?
They had a baseball team, and they said that they play. She was like, there are other girls that are good, but they didn't play today. They didn't pitch today, or she didn't pitch today because she pitched yesterday. Like, that was a team they play regularly when
I
he
get
went
what
to
you're
see
saying.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, she wouldn't choose.
Oh, you meant growing up. I thought you meant like after she left.
No. I'm saying like before
Yeah.
when they got recruited. Like, she obviously enjoys. You wouldn't play it leisurely that often if you didn't enjoy
True.
it.
Very true. Very true. I got you.
I think that it was, she wouldn't have chosen because she was like, I know what my life is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think when she was in it, she enjoyed it. I don't think there was a reason for her not to, other than the drama.
The drama. Speaking of drama, next week we finally get into the Christmas season. Randy's pick, if they're going to be here.
Wait, when
obviously,
is the 100th?
The 100th episode actually is going to be the first episode of the new year.
Oh, shit.
So we're going to skip the last week of the year. We're going to put a kibosh on that. So we're going to go all the way through Christmas, and then we're going to take a break for that last.
So I'll have the last one.
You will have the last
before
pick
the
of
100th,
year
because
before
we're
the
not going to
100th.
do that last week of December.
Correct. The 100th. I mean, we could still record it then. We probably will, and it will come out that following week.
But you're saying like it's not.
The 100th episode will be the first week of January.
We're not going to release one, is what you're saying, that last week of December.
Correct. And we're going to do a special episode for 100th anniversary episode,
It kind
whatever
of
you want
makes
to
me
say.
sad that the last one is going to be a Christmas one.
What's wrong
You know
with
what I
that?
mean? But it is what
It
it
makes
is
sense.
because. But you know what I mean? Because that last week of December, we could have done a non-Christmas movie to finish out the year.
I mean, we could have, but it's gotta
Because
be
it's already
100th.
after Christmas. at that
Or,
point.
I mean, okay. Well, I mean, we can think about this. What if we do end the 100th episode on the last of the year?
instead of it being
Right, missing a week, because then you're saying, okay, we're ending
well,
the year
because
with the 100th.
technically that is the 100th. That would be the
Yeah, right.
100th episode.
So that wouldn't be a bad idea either if you end the year with the 100th
And then-
episode.
'cause then you
to
start fresh.
the new year with the new going
new
forward.
count.
Okay, well, I mean, that might be good. That might be a good idea. But
just a
for
thought.
our 100th episode, we are going to do something special. We are going to review the first movie we ever did on our first episode, and we're also going to somewhat review our own episode that we did. So we're not going to go and listen to the whole thing back, but we might listen to some clips from that episode and critique.
That's what I was
what
going to
had
ask
gone
you
on.
is if you wanted us to also listen to the go back and listen to the podcast while also watching the movie, or just judge on whatever you show us when we're here.
Up to you. I'm not going to force you to listen to an episode of three guys trying to figure out what to do. But if you want to listen to it, go for it. It's actually not that bad. We did it at Wally's
We'll
house,
see.
which is fucking funny, but I might go and like pull some funny things from
Yeah.
it, and we can have clips that we'll like play and listen to and be like, all right, that was fucking stupid.
But
or
before
whatever.
that,
But
next
before
week
that,
is Christmas
Next week, we're
time.
getting in the holiday spirit. Randy's pick is in. We're going to do Elf. Will Ferrell.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Zoe Deschanel, who plays fucking Santa Claus.
I don't know that guy's name.
No, well, I guess it does. Santa Claus
I
is
really
in it.
don't. I don't know that guy's name.
Santa. We're gonna get Elfie here next week. We're gonna review that for our first episode of the Christmas season, and then it's gonna be, I guess, Wally's pick. No, it would be
Yours.
my pick.
And then
Oh,
Wally, because I'm Christmas week.
Right.
is
I
my
don't even
pick.
know what I would pick for Christmas. I know what Wally's going to pick. Let's be real. We know what Wally's going to pick. His uncle worked on that movie as the key grip. Jingle All the Way. So we'll see. I guess I got some thinking to do.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
The Nutcracker? Right. I got some thinking to do for that. But next week, like I said, Elf is going to be fun. We're going to hit the Christmas spirit. We're going to see.
We're gonna get spirited.
We're going to maybe, I don't
Maybe
know.
I'll
We
pick
might
that
maybe
movie.
we might talk about that. Maybe some other things, but thanks for listening, guys. Again, if you want to find us anywhere, at The Decision Reel, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, our website, www.thedecisionreel.com. There's merch there. Buy our t-shirts. Support us in any way you can. Appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.